welcome. Happy Friday to you. What has given you the Friday feeling? Do feel free to let us know. We really would love to hear. My name is Rebecca Redican, but you can call me Becky. And this 3 hours is jam-packed full of creativity. Let me tell you that. We're starting off with the craft along, and we've got the wonderful Chang Fabrics joining us shortly. So there is loads and loads to be done. We have got a wonderful set of treats for you as well today. Just to let you know, if you treat yourself to something, I don't know, maybe some of these fabulous cards or maybe some of the fabric coming up later, and you're going to spend over £20 or $20, you're going to get a free mystery gift. Ooh! Yeah, good, I liked that. I love a bit of audience participation. But we have got the free gift coming out to you. You don't need any special code. It will just be added to your basket as you check out, so bear that in mind. As well as that, we have got a World Quilting Day treat for you. If you are into your fabrics, head on over to our website because we are, you're right there, causing a kerfuffle. We're only 1 minute in. We have also got for you a deal on fabric, which is if you head on over to our website, it's a buy one get one half price deal, so feel free to get on over there if you love a bit of a bargain. We have also got our fabulous craft along with our wonderful craft expert today, who is putting the van in fantastic. It's the wonderful Rebecca.
Hello, Belle.
Hello. It's lovely to see you.
And you as well. You seem to be a regular Friday at the moment for you.
I know, yeah. The Friday lass.
Yeah, absolutely.
It.
Yeah, it's really nice. And what a great evening to have a craft along on.
Totally.
Normally we do it in the daytime. Well, it could still be in the daytime for you, but normally it would then be in the morning if you're in America. But I love that we've got one in the evening, so it just calms us into the weekend.
Totally.
Just doing a little bit of crafting in real time, which is amazing.
And this is a special make, isn't it?
I just love these dies, and I know we say these are card shapes, so yes, you can absolutely make your card shapes, but I figured we've got lots of sort of things, especially like Easter coming up. I mean, I know this isn't Easter related, but what I've done is I've made this into a little box. Yay! So you can actually use it as a usable box, putting all your little mini eggs in there for the kids. They will absolutely love that, and then they've almost got a toy to play with if you want them to. But what I love as well about this, make it more manly. You've got it for Father's Day in June. I think there's just so many different things that you can do with this one, and I absolutely love it. So hopefully you'll craft along with me, and if you don't and you want to buy the dies today, you can craft along at any time in the future because we keep all of these on our social media. So the next thing we need to know is what we're going to need to actually to make it. So with the card bases themselves, you are going to need the Busy Camping, which is the camper van, some white stamping cards, some black card, some grey or silver cardstock, some Centura Pearl, a baby pink, and some patterned cardstock. Now I've used the pick and mix. Now obviously you can do it in whatever colours that you want to do it in, and then your main toolkit, we want some tacky glue, some foam pads, the Gemini, the scoreboard and scoring tool, guillotine and scissors. So nice and simple, and we're just going to have a really nice easy craft along before I hand you over to our lovely Becky Sworn, who has the most amazing fabrics. If you haven't seen them today, definitely stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, definitely worth a watch. It's a fascinating story. So we have got that fabulous make. Do feel free to gather everything you need for that right now. If you don't have all of the elements, do not worry. I have got a selection here for you. These are your shaped card bases that we're going to be working with. You're going to be getting the Classy and Fabulous, the Busy Camping, and you've got If the Shoe Fits. All of them come with wonderful stamps with different sentiments on them. So if you do want to seize the moment, absolutely do. If you do already have the collection, send in your pictures. Go on, send them in. What have you been making with this set? We would love to have a little hello from you. And speaking of hellos, I'm very, very excited because today on this fabulous craft along, we have got wonderful Jenny with us. Hi, Jenny.
Hi there.
How are you today?
I'm great, thanks.
Good. Now, just as a reminder, because we've got loads of new viewers who tune in all of the time, tell us a little bit about where you're from and your crafting.
Okay, so I thought you were going to say where I'm from. I'm from Ohio.
Yeah. So you're from Ohio. Is that where you are right now?
Yes, that's where I'm at right now.
Great. I can see that you've already got a van in the background there, Jenny.
I do.
Oh.
I do.
You've been
No,
making
I've been
them.
crafting most of my life as long as I can remember. I crafted with my mom, and we always were creative. So I've been doing crafting for a long time, but I only found Crafter's Companion. Well, I shouldn't say in the last few years. It's probably been the last, whenever the Ultimate came out, because I got it when it came out. So I guess that's been a while.
That's fabulous, isn't it? Yeah, it has been quite a while. So the wonderful Jenny is joining us and is going to be crafting along with us live. So we'll be keeping an eye and keeping up to date with what Jenny is crafting. So we'll speak to you in a little bit, Jenny. Enjoy.
Okay. Thank you.
We have got for you so many, loads and loads of opportunities to get involved today. Do head on over to our website, and don't forget, if you do want to get social with us, to let us know if you've made something before or to let us know what you're up to this weekend, then the information is now at the bottom of your screen, and we really do love chatting to you. Have you got everything you need ready for this craft along? If so, let's begin. I'm with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, you might have heard Joe. So our Jenny from Ohio, Joe always introduces, and we always say, Jenny, Ohio, Jenny. Have you heard us say? Have you heard Joe say that before?
Yeah.
And
Ohio.
that's our Jenny. See, that tunes in. So great to have you with us, Jenny. Right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our stamping card or white cardstock. So whatever white cardstock you got, I'm using 300 GSM because it's a really nice weight. We're going to put that in our guillotine, and we're going to cut this to, let me just get my measurements. We're going to cut this, I'm going to do the box first, so just working out. So 8 3/4 by 7 inches. So I'm going to take it to the 8 3/4. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to take it just slightly over. I like to give myself that little bit of room, so just very slightly over, and that's 8 3/4, and then we're going to cut that by 7. So onto our 7 again, just slightly over that mark, so I know that I've got that perfect, and pop that down. So that gives us our first piece. Now, while we've got our guillotine out, let's do our wrap for our box as well, and that gives us the 2 parts. So take another piece of white card, and this time we're going to cut this piece. Let me make sure I've got my measurements again. So 11.5 this time. So 11.5. Right to that end, just very, very slightly over, and then we're just going to trim that down, and then we're going to turn that round, and we're going to cut that to 5.5. So 5.5, just down to the bottom. Make sure that's completely lined up, and then trim that piece off. Okay, so we'll end up with our 2 pieces of card. Now, just recap on that for everybody, just so you're catching up. Our first piece of card, we're cutting to 8 3/4 inches by 7 inches. And then our next piece of card is 11.5 by 5.5. Okay, so that's our cutting for now done. Pop that to the side. And then we're going to do some scoring. Now, I'm using my big score, and what I will do for you, once we've scored this, just in case anybody has the score master, I'll bring that in so you can see what the measurements are on that as well. But quite simply, we're going to come in and we're going to score at, let me just get all my measurements here. So we're going to score at 1 7/8 of an inch. So there's 8 increments in an inch, so it's just 1 before. Have I got this 7? Yes, so just before there. Let's score that one down. Then we're going to, actually, I'm not going to do that. I've done this. I'm going to turn it the other way round because I remember doing this when I was working out all my measurements. Doesn't matter we've put that in, that's absolutely fine. But when I was working out all my measurements, it was easier to do it this way. So we're going to do it at 5/8 of an inch. So that's 1 over the 1/2 an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1/2 an inch and then 1 in. Okay. And I like to score it a few times just to burnish that. Then we're going to go 4 1/8 of an inch, so 1 after the 4. And that's our next line. Then we're going to go to 6 and score that down. Then we're going to go to our 9 5/8 of an inch. So that's 1 after, which is the same score line, more or less, but what you'll see is it comes in slightly, which is why when I was doing it the other way round, it worked out better this way. Okay, so I will recap on that, and we're going to go to 5/8 of an inch. Then we're going to score at 4 1/8 of an inch, then at 6 inches, and then at 9 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you do have the smaller scoreboard and you haven't got a larger one, what we've got here, now if I tell you the measurements between, it will make a lot of sense. So we've got obviously 5/8 of an inch here, but between those two pieces it's 3.5 inches. Okay, so you've got 3.5 inches, and then you've got in these two panels this part and this part. So this part and this part are exactly the same. So you've got the 3.5 inches. Then you've got 1 inch and 7/8, 1 7/8 of an inch, 1 7/8 of an inch, 3.5 and 3.5. Okay, and then this end bit that you've got on here. So hopefully that helps. Then we're going to bring in our next piece of card, and all we're going to do all the way round on here, we're going to do this at 1 and, let me just double check on my score, 1 3/4 of an inch. So 1 3/4, and we're going to score that all the way round. 1 3/4, just rotating each step, and 1 3/4, and then our last one, 1 3/4. Okay, so that gives us our measurements. So shall I recap on all of that so everyone's catching up with their scoring? Right, okay, and what I'm going to do now is, now I've got mine all made, I'm going to bring in my templates, which might make it a bit easier for you to see as well. So here we go. So we've scored in at 5/8 of an inch, and then we've scored at 4 1/8 of an inch, then 6 inches, and then 9 5/8 of an inch, and across the whole piece of card is 11.5, and going down it's 5.5 inches. Okay, and you can see then once we've burnished and scored, that makes our wraparound for our box. Okay,
Great.
and then we're going to bring this one in, and this piece of card we've cut, and if I bring this in, this is our finished piece, and we'll cut ours in a second, but we've along the side is 7 inches, and then it's 8 3/4, and scored in at 1 1/4 inch all the way round. Okay, so that gets us all our, oh crash,
Oh, hey up.
that's all right, just my tape, which is not a problem. Right, let's pop that to the side. So this bit here, let's make our actual box. We're going to score and burnish. So just going round all of our pieces here. And then we're going to trim into that. So let me find my scissors. So how I like to do it, Becky, I always like to sort of trim into my first part on the right-hand side. It's a bit hard to see the lines in these lights because it's all white, but trim down that line. And what I always say is trim off the embossed detail so you know you've got a flat area. I then like to go in and create that triangle right on that edge and then snip into it. And then the same all the way around. So cut in into this bit, cut in there and trimming down. And again on the next piece, trim those corners out. And it doesn't matter how neat they are, you're not going to be able to see these. But it is just a case of cutting out that embossed line. And this just makes them neater. By cutting into this little panel, it just not only makes them neater when they tuck in, it makes it more, you get a little bit of wiggle room because you've got this bottom bit took off. If it was level, it might catch and you'd have a little bit sticking up at the top. Where this way, you can actually put it flush with the top of your box. Okay, right, so we've got our pieces made. Next thing we're going to do is pop our bottom of our box together. So this is going to act as like your tray that goes on the inside. So all we're going to do, now you can either use tacky glue or you can use your tape pens, or red liner tape actually is perfect because red liner tape is really strong. I'm going to use our tape pens. Let's just find the end there. So just make sure when you're using your tape pen, make sure you put your tape right to the edges. Our tape pens are really strong, but if you don't allow any air to get in, they'll stay sticky for a long, long time. And then all I'm going to do is, using the top of my finger, is make sure that I have this side bit flush and the top bit flush at the same time. And you'll get that perfect corner every single time. Oh no, wow.
This just
Whoop,
in.
whoop, whoop, whoop. Breaking news.
Good.
Breaking news.
Dum.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Like the look of Debbie's tape pen? Oh,
Yes.
I bet you do, don't you? Oh, I know, Becky, don't bring them up. We haven't got them in stock, have we? Oh, yes, we do. Guess what? They're back.
Oh my goodness.
They are in sets of 4. Head on over to our website. It's buy 3, get 1 free, which is super loopy-loop, because if we haven't had them in for ages, you'd think we'd keep them at the normal price so they don't sell out. But no, we love a bargain. So if you are have been running low on your tape pens, now is your time to stock up.
Wow, I can't believe they're back in. We were genuinely getting, Debbie Robinson was getting really worried because she was getting right down to the core.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I was in store at Evesham last week, and they had some and they let me have some.
Oh,
so it was like a
good
huge
eggs.
relief that I didn't run out. I don't suppose we got the dotty ones in yet.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, we have.
Oh my
We don't do things by half either.
Oh. That's amazing. Oh, is that what those big boxes,
the boxes
are out there?
outside? Oh, I can see it. Glue, tape pens, quantity. How many tape pens do you imagine we get in a box? Because I can read it from here. 288 per box.
Wow. They were not going to let us run out, were they, anymore? No. So they're just for us in the studio. So we must have plenty come over. It is such a relief. I know loads of people are going to be stocking up again on them because they literally did run out and we didn't know where. We kept saying they'll be back soon, they'll be back soon, and they just didn't seem to be coming back in. So phew, that's a huge relief.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got our box, and then what we'll do is make our wrap, and then we'll let you catch up on those and have just a little bit of a break while you catch up on those score lines. So what we're doing now is just using our tool to score all the way around, burnishing those lines in, just like so, and then your box will then fit into here. So what you want to do, make your box around, make your this part. Oh, I've made a mistake.
Uh-oh. Tell me.
I've made a rookie mistake.
Okay.
Yeah. And everybody, if you're crafting along with me, you're going to know, you're probably shouting at me saying, Debbie, you've done it wrong. So I was making a box, Becky. When you make a box, you have to make it on each side of the board. And I made them both on the same side of the board.
So there's no sliding.
Yes, there's no sliding. See, because I can tell, look, I can't actually glue this piece shut because that piece is not long enough. So we have to remake the wrap. So actually, all we've lost is a piece of card. But actually, it's a really good way of letting people know that if you do the same, it doesn't matter. It's a piece of card, and we would just cut another piece of card the same.
And it's still perfectly good, sizable surfaces. You could use them for sentiments, couldn't you?
Yeah, and can I just say something as well? Don't chuck this piece of card away. What you now need to do, what you can do, is make your box on the opposite end. So make another box and another wrap at the opposite sides, and then you can use one for the other one, and they will fit into there. So shall we carry on, George, and just do our wrap? Yes, let's do that, absolutely. So I'm going to bring another piece of white card. Do apologise for that. So normally I'm proper on the ball with, and actually, shall I just give you a bit of honesty? I wasn't doing this show. We had our poor Michelle. Michelle's poorly, and she made the craft along. So I'm actually doing Michelle's craft along. So when you're doing someone else's craft along, sometimes it's easy to make those little mistakes rather than, yeah, absolutely. Georgia just said it's like stepping into your brain, into their brain, and that's exactly what it is. So let's just start, and actually it just gives us a bit of a recap, doesn't it? So with our long piece of card, we're going to be cutting this 11.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So 11.5. Just popping that into there. So just if Michelle's watching, I wish you well, Michelle. I'm sure you will be fit as a fiddle soon.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go 5.5 inches. And also, thank you for the project, because it's beautiful. Absolutely lovely. So let's pop that to the side. So when you bring your scoreboard in now, so this is, anyone that's wondering what I did wrong, on this side of the board, it creates, right at the bottom, we probably won't pick this up because it's sort of moulded in, but it says box lid at the bottom here. And then on this side, it says box base. So I should have done them sort of the other way round. Now, I've done my box on the lid side, but we're going to do the other one, which makes it a different size to the box. So what we're going to do is bring it in on the opposite side. Now, you've got your scoring lines from the bottom this time, not the top. So on this side, and because I like to work from left to right, I'm going to turn my board round. So we're going to now do our 5/8 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5/8 of an inch. And then we're going to go across to 4 1/8 of an inch. Down there. Then we're going to go across. And apologies to Jenny, who's crafting along, but hopefully she'll rectify that as well. And then we've got 9 5/8 of an inch. So to 9 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Jenny's smiling.
Fabulous.
She's got double thumbs up. She's happy. She's good.
There we go. So that's our score line. So we've done that on the opposite side of our box. So again, let's fold and burnish those lines in. So popping those in. And then on to here. So let's just bring this in. Now this time, when we pop it on, there we go, perfect. Now can you see, we now can fit and glue that together and know that our drawer will go in and out.
Lovely.
Okay, so that's all you have to remember with that, is just to make sure that you do your sides on 1/2 of there. So I'm just going to repeat this. I'll bring in my piece of card so you can see exactly what it is. So we've got our 5/8 of an inch scored down. It's 11.5 inches across, 5.5 inches down, 5/8 of an inch. Then we've got 4 1/8 of an inch, and then 6 inches, and then 9 5/8 of an inch. And each piece, so the piece in between here will measure 3.5, this one will measure 3.5, and the ones in between will measure, let me just get my, there we go, 1 7/8 of an inch inside those pieces. And then you've just got your 5/8 of an inch on the side. And then all we're going to do now is I'm just going to stick this tab here, and then we will let you all catch up. So, oh, look at that. Hey, I don't have a guilt complex using it now, Becky, because I was starting to feel a little bit guilty because people didn't have the tape pens and we didn't have them in stock. So,
but we have now.
We have now. There'll be a rush of tape pen. And don't rush. You don't need to buy millions of them. We've got plenty to go around, just not our ones. There we go. So popping that in, and then we're just going to slide that in. That will fit perfectly into our box. There we go. So we've made our first little box. And actually, what a cute little box for anything, let alone just doing this project, just having a really nice slippy slidey box. So there we go. We'll let you catch up on that one, and we got there eventually.
Absolutely do. Let me recap for you what you're going to be getting in this collection, if I may. We have got for you 3 different designs. You've got your classy and fabulous, and this one, as you can see, does create a handbag. However, the keen-eyed amongst you may well have noticed that depending on how you use them, for example, this die here and that lid there, it will turn the handbag into a purse. Or if you wanted to, depending on the colours, this handbag could instantly become a briefcase. There's plenty of different elements you can do with this. You can do a tool bag with it, doctor's bag with it. You could make this into kind of like trying to think, like a party bag type thing. And again, depending on the accessories you use, can create a completely different look. I've also got for you, if the shoe fits. This one's beautiful. It's very kind of Carrie Bradshaw. We have got for you the wonderful detail to these. I think these are lovely, of course, as not just people who love shoes, but great for like bridal cards. Maybe you want to thank your bridesmaids, and actually you could colour this into look similar to bridesmaid shoes. They're absolutely beautiful. And then I've also got for you your busy camping, which is the one the lovely Deborah Fisher is working with right at this moment in time. I love this one because I think there's so much you can do with it. Use some of the dies and stamps that you've got in other collections. You can make this into an ice cream van. You can make this into the what is it called? The mystery, you know, Scooby-Doo and Pal. That's it, the mystery van. You could do colours like that, couldn't you? The mystery machine. That's it, of course it is. Yeah, you could make this into lots and lots of different things, as well as, of course, as a camper van.
General lorry driver, you don't have to put the windows in the front, so
yeah, could be a news station van. Great idea.
Or a spy one.
Yeah, ooh.
Where you open the back and there's all that technology in there, and they're all like looking, and their cameras and things at people.
Yeah, but how would you decorate that as a spy van? You can't write on it.
That's
spies.
What it is. Surveillance.
Surveillance. Yeah, good. You could do that. I mean, it's niche, but I like it. You could put tacos on it and make it like a taco truck as couldn't you? Yeah, congratulations for working for MI5 card. Or the CIA for the Americans. But yes, we have got loads of opportunity with this. So just as a reminder, you've got those ones to grab. If you do want smaller collections, we have got that available. So you've got Classy and Fabulous here. It comes with those stamps as well as those dies. And then I've got for you the Camping as well, which again is the one we are working with. And then lastly, but by no means leastly, if the shoe fits. So if you do want to seize the moment on that, absolutely do. Do let us know at home if you've got these and you've worked with them. Let us know what you like about them. What did you make yours into? Also, feel free to send us pictures. Loads of people getting involved with us today. Hello to Jen Mike saying, hello everyone. I'm prepared for today's craft along. I've been really looking forward to it, which is great. Thank you very much for that. We have got Diane in. So excited for this craft along. Hello to you. Mary Patson saying, hello everyone from a sunny but cold Montana. Hello. We've got people saying hello to Jenny as well, saying how beautiful your purple hair is, Jenny. I bet you get that a lot. So do keep those messages coming in. She's smiling and nodding. Yeah, I bet you get stopped in the shops. We have got lots more wonderful craft along to go, as well as our fantastic Chang's fabric. But for now, are you all caught up? Then let's continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring the die set in itself. Now this die set is incredible because there is so much on it. So looking at the actual die set itself, you even get your wheel trims, you get blinds, you get your windows, your wheels, everything you need is there, your bunting, your streamers. So I love this die set because you can use it for multiple things and lots of different ways. So the first thing we're going to do is take that outside cutting edge, which is the main van die, and we want to cut 3 of these out. So we're going to pop these through a few times with our Gemini. So they will fit through your Gemini Junior. I'm using my Gemini, so we're just going to put in a piece of A4 cardstock and cut that through, and then we can use the opposite side of that card to cut another one. So we're going to cut 3 of these out. Now obviously obviously, if you wanted to use different cardstock, you can absolutely do that. Theme it to whatever you want it themed to. And like Becky was saying, there's just so many different uses for this fan in different themes, with whatever you want to send it to that person, or just having that quirky little gift. I think it's great for any little boys or girls that want to have something to also play with, because we're making this quite rigid, which is why I'm cutting out multiple pieces of card. It means that if you are giving it to a child, they can actually play with it, and it's going to be quite robust for them to use, which is exactly what you want. You don't want something made of floppy card and it's just going to fall apart straight away. So I like this, that we can make it quite rigid. So that's our second one cut out, and then we're going to cut a third one. So that's our two. I love the shape of these, they're just brilliant. And so much fun, aren't they? Sometimes you just need dies that are just fun to use, and not even for any other reason other than they make someone smile.
Definitely, and that's definitely what these are, especially as with kind of lockdown here in the UK anyway. I don't know if it was the same in America, but there was a massive influx in people buying camper vans, VWs, doing them up and the like. So I bet there's someone in your family or friendship group who, if you made it to maybe match theirs, it would be out all the time. You know what I mean?
I was looking on social media the other day, and a van popped up that someone had made into a garden bar. And it was actually a camper van. It was amazing. It was so amazing. And I was like, what a brilliant idea. I think it was just a really old one that wasn't roadworthy anymore. Yeah. But decorated up and actually made into a bar in the back of the garden.
That's cool.
Thought, yeah, really cool. Right, so we've got our three. We're then going to cut it. I'm going to cut one out of my pink Centura. Now I'm using baby pink. You can use whatever colour that you've got in your stash. So we're going to cut that one out as well. So pop that on.
If you're running low on Centura, we have got some on show in a range of colours, just to let you know.
Yeah, Centura Pearl is just amazing. You get beautiful shine. We have so many colours, honestly. If you just go and have a look, there is just loads and loads of colours. And if, for instance, there isn't a colour that you like in our Centura Pearl, or not so much like, but colour that you want to do different, we do a can of our Spray and Shine. It's Spray and Glitter cans. We do a Centura Pearl one that makes all cardstock into Centura Pearl. So that's quite amazing as well. So let's take those ones off. That gives me my front piece. So we're going to use two of these. Now the reason that we wanted to, I didn't need a pink one. I apologise. Doesn't matter if you cut it out, because we are going to use pink to cut out some other pieces. But we need 4 white ones. Just realised by looking at it, I thought it was pink. So all I'm going to do is pop that on and send another one through. It's quite nice because these dies are so easy to cut out. You can cut multiples really quickly. I mean, it's probably just took us no more than sort of a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, to actually cut all these out, which is no problem whatsoever. Yeah. I love the fact you could batch make with these. You could use them through a folded piece of card and make your own card lengths, which is brilliant. It just makes the dies even more versatile. Right, so we've got our 4 pieces of white cardstock. Now, your first, just making things difficult for myself. I did do it right the first time, so it doesn't matter. So we do need a pink one, I've just realised. And that's the thing, and I did have a really good look at this project, but what I'm going to do, I'll bring it round and show you what I mean. So we are going to stick that one onto the back. So we do need our pink one, so that will go. I've cut it the wrong way as well, look, dearie me. Right, so let's use this. What we're going to do is turn our Centura Pearl over, and we're going to cut through the back of it, which is not what we would normally do, but because we're backing it on to the back of our box, we want it the other way round. So sorry if I'm getting you to all cut out all these pieces of card, but it will all come together in the end.
And you can keep them, as you said, for batch making.
Absolutely. Well, we haven't wasted any at all, Becky, because the pink one we're going to use to cut pieces out to decorate anyway. Great. So we would have needed that piece of card, so we've not wasted any card of that.
Brilliant.
There we go. So our last camper van there. And turn that over. And then what we're going to do with that one, we're going to back it onto one. So if you turn one of your white ones round, we're going to glue these together, okay? So I'm going to use my tacky glue, or you could use your not Centura, pal. You could use your Kalau. Kalau is great because it dries like concrete, so it really will be tough.
Make it
So
super
I love
sturdy.
tacky glue, and what I also like about tacky glue, especially if you're using it with Centura, if it squidges out the side, it's not going to take the shine off. So I'm making sure that I just fill this. I'm not squeezing too much out because you don't want it splodged everywhere. The best thing to do with tacky glue to make it more tacky is leave it for about 30 seconds to a minute. And all that does is it allows it to get a little bit more tacky, and it gives a stronger fix straight away.
A bit like eyelash glue.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
exactly like that. And then we're going to pop that directly over the top. You still get that bit of wiggle room, which is good, so we can make sure that all our sides are where they need to be. And that's going to make our piece of card really strong. So let's just rub that all down, making sure we've got all that glue all over. Yeah, and that's going to really aid to the rigidity of our camper van. So, and you can tell when you do that, you've got like quite a hard surface
Yeah, you can
on
hear
your
it.
wheels. Yeah. So that's our first one. So we're going to pop that to the side, making sure we stick all that down. You could put that under a heavy book and just let it dry so it settles and it doesn't warp at all, so you have it completely flat. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to start our decoration. Now we've cut two of these because one of them we're going to use to put onto our van. The next one we're going to use, but we're not going to stick it down until we've done some extra pieces to this. So onto here, we want to cut in all our bits. But first of all, that piece you cut out in the pink, let's use some of the dies to cut our parts out. So let me bring in our nesting dies here. I say nesting dies, our set of dies. And we want this window frame. So this window frame we're going to cut out. So it doesn't matter where you cut it out, but because we've already done this, what I'm going to do, you can see it's got the wheel arch on there, that curve, so it fits perfectly into that section. So actually what you could do is to keep this piece of card, so not to waste it, we could already cut that out and create a different piece afterwards. But first of all, we're going to cut that out, and I also want to use one of these strips as well. So let's cut that out of the top. And I'm just going to use my tape, which I dropped on the floor there. So let's just take that out of there and tape those into place. That's a brilliant idea, isn't
Kathy's
it?
just messaged in. Hello, Kathy. Saying, made one of these vans last week with my 12-year-old granddaughter. She made it into a fire truck for her sister's birthday. She's training to be a firefighter.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So cool. I love that.
And you might have already done this, but looking at this one, those strips that are like your stripes that go across your van, you could use two of those and just add some little prongs and make a ladder.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, clever. Love that idea.
Yeah, because they actually cut out. So if you cut two of those at the side and then put some little ones across, you could make a little ladder, and then you could have that coming out, couldn't you, of the top of your truck?
Yeah.
So, which you might have, I'm sure you probably already have done.
That's a great
So
idea.
let's take these pieces away. So you can see by cutting those pieces out like that, if we pop them over the top, we're not using this bit, I'm just showing you how you can use that piece that I wasted, if you like. But look, it makes it look different straight away, and that is starting to look like an ice cream truck like that,
it is,
isn't it?
yeah.
So we're going to pop that to the side because we are going to be needing our stripes. So we've got one of our stripes here, and we've got this piece. Now this piece is then going to stick onto here, but what we want to do, we want to cut our window. So let's just put, as you go along, pop these bits back on just so you don't lose any of them. It's my main tip, especially when you come to all these small parts. Like this piece here is the door handle, so you don't want to lose parts like that. So then we're going to take this piece and then we're going to pop that onto here. So the top, you can see, so we have the top of our window, and then that's going to come slanted down. So we want to cut our window out. So we're going to pop that onto there, and then just pop that across.
What's your favourite type of ice cream, speaking of ice cream fans?
Oh, that's a difficult one, because I have to be honest, I love ice cream and I love all different ones. I'm the one that will spend ages at the ice cream because I just don't know what's. I go through stages where, because I love when you go to the seaside and they do things like pecan and caramel and things like that.
Unusual ones.
Love that. But if I'm at home, lolly-wise, I love a Solero.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I absolutely love a Solero.
Little mouthful of holiday, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but if I'm away, I would probably. It's really hard.
It's that one, isn't
really
it?
hard,
Sorry, I should have prepared you.
I love Cornish ice creame. I think that's delicious, and but I probably have a mixture of sort of chocolate. I love like tubs of ice creams that you can buy. I love a strawberry cheesecake.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
It's very nice, yes, which is very naughty. I love Soleros, and I have them because they're actually quite low in fat. They're really low in calories.
Oh,
they're only about sort of like 96 calories. So I always feel like I can have a treat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone will be going out shopping for Soleros now because they're low in calories. They're more juice, aren't they? It's all juice with then your ice cream around them. What about you, Becky? What's your favourite?
Oh, good question. I'm fond of a Mr. Whippy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
good old
proper ice cream
99er.
fan, isn't it?
I think we've had this question before, but I can't remember it. We were asking why they called it a 99er, and there's a reason they're called a 99er.
Yeah, it's to do with it being 99p back in the day, isn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was
Oh.
something completely different because we thought that, but I can't remember what it was. I think the two Georges were on with me when Joe asked that question, and he found out what it was. Yeah. Yeah, so, but it's amazing the sort of different facts that you get.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so I'm taking all these pieces out. This piece has no cutting edge on it. So this square one, so you need to be mindful of where you're putting it, because this bit, we want it as our door. So if we want our door to open the wrong way, then you want to put it the right way. So this is our one that's not going to cut in. And the reason I'm leaving this here at the moment before we cut it in, so I can sort of check where I want to put them. So I'm going to put this will go right to the end. So we're going to pop this right onto our end piece here, right onto that wheel. There we go, just on there, leaving this little gap. So then we're going to put our door right next to there because our door's going to open, and we're going to do that just slightly lower. So we'll have a slightly lower door around there. So let's grab our tape and just tape that into place. And I'm just going to make sure at the bottom I've got a sort of straightish line, and that will pop that bit in. So that gives us our door into place. Now you can, if you don't feel like you can do all this at once, do a few at a time, and make sure you tape them down, because I wouldn't want you to cross over your dies. If your die in your machine crosses over like that, all it's going to do is cut into the die here. It will just make a dent. It won't harm your dies, but obviously it's always better if you don't do that with your dies. So we've got our main door. I'm not going to put my window in there just yet. We've got all our extra pieces here. But we're going to cut our other windows in. So I want another window here, and then we're going to use our square window. You've got a small one here, which is for your door window. And then we're going to pop this one across there. So it's just a case, and you can put them wherever you want. You know, just because I'm putting them here doesn't mean that you can't have maybe two long windows, have one of your windows sort of lower down here. You can put them wherever you want. I'm going to sort of keep them in line with my door and just bring in some more tape to tape them down. So popping that across there.
We found out about the 99.
Oh, okay.
According to Cadbury's website. Cadbury's? Correct. Apparently, 99, the name is lost in time. Ooh, mysterious. Apparently, it's because back in the olden days, this isn't verbatim. Back in the olden days, Italian fella had 99 people in like his friends. Oh, right, sorry, he was the king, should be more specific. He was the king, and he had 99 guards. And so they named it after the 99 because that was seen as something like, oh, a bit special, like, ooh, a bit extra, like, oh, that's you know, really strong, basically.
There you go. Yeah, I knew it had a strange meaning. I mean, who knows if... And actually, Becky, it's not very often we catch you out. You normally know all these things.
I do normally know that type of thing, but no.
Wealth of knowledge you are with very random things you know.
Yeah.
I think things just stick in your head when you hear them.
Yeah, I'm great in a pub quiz. The type of information that no one really needs to know, but I just do. But yeah, no, 99, that's one to add to my repertoire.
There you go. Now you can add another one. Right, so that cuts out all our windows. So let's pop that on and take off our tape. There we go, and our door. So I love the fact you're getting a door. So there you go, it doesn't open on that side. So now you've got your opening door. And then we can take off these two pieces. And then we've got our middle section. So I'm just going to rub this where my sort of sticky glue has gone, just to get rid of any marks. Now, if you wanted to have a really jazzy, funky van, you could also do all this in your coloured papers and then add your extra white pieces. But we're keeping this quite nice and plain and simple. So once you've got all those in place, we can then, we've got our little piece to put here. And what we're going to start doing now, Becky, because we've actually done all our die cutting. Oh, one more thing we will do, and let's just pop all these back on. We will cut our window out of the door. And then I think we'll let people catch up on their die cutting.
Cool.
And then we'll get back to decorating.
Lovely.
So let me just pop the window in place right there. And then we will send that on through. And then once I've done that, I will put all my bits back on the carrier sheet so we don't lose them, and then we will have a little bit of a break to let you catch up.
Lovely. Loads of people messaging in. Jules is saying, hello, Jules here from Kidderminster. Gorgeous part of the world. Shoes would make a lovely notelet. Oh, great idea. Yeah, I love that. That's so smart. That's a great idea.
And a nice gift for someone, a notelet pad.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Pammy is saying the ice cream shop in town has a mum's sundae that this mum loves. It's vanilla soft serve, covered in almonds, coconut, hot fudge, and finished with whipped cream. Woo!
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Delicious.
I have got a sweet tooth. Have you, Becky?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've got a terrible sweet tooth. I love things like pecan pie.
I don't think I've ever had a pecan pie.
Oh, pecan nut pie. Yeah, I love it.
Wait, is that dry? I mean, I'm imagining you just grind up some pecans.
No, it's normally done in like a choux pastry, and then you've got loads of pecans, and it's all done with toffee and caramel.
Oh, you're talking my language.
Oh, it's just delicious. And then like syrupy icing sugar.
Has it got an ooze?
Yeah.
Oh, I love an ooze.
So lovely. So lovely. Right, there we go. So we're going to let everybody catch up. We've got our camper van, all our pieces, and then we'll start decorating.
Thank you so much. Whilst you're catching up, let me give you some more treats. We mentioned earlier on our wonderful Carl Grew, and I've got it here for you as part of our paper library collection. So in here, you're going to be getting your glue, of which you have got 90 grams worth. I have also got your matte cardstock collection. Now, this is your everyday brights. It's 180 GSM, and in case you are new, the higher the number on a GSM, the stronger and sturdier it is. Now with these, you've got your matte colours, which you are going to use time and time and time again. Think about the different colours here that you may well use with your van. For example, that'd be beautiful if you do want to do maybe your ice cream van ideas. I think this one could be a really nice one for maybe like a lobster truck. Is that a thing? I feel like it should be. Yeah, like you go and you buy your lobster off of a truck. Because here in the UK, you have like crab trucks, don't you? And cockles and eel trucks and stuff like that. Fish, basically. You've got lovely red ones here as well. That'd be quite nice for like the cherry on top of a sundae, wouldn't it? I've got your lovely bright yellows in here, different shades of green and blue too. Then I've got that purples, the blacks, the white in there as well. Massive amount of your 12 by 12. I've also got in here the paper library itself. Great for storage, but also it is full of different papers that are in different themes. So you have got loads of lovely details and basics in here, but also you have some really bright ones. You've got ones that are kind of artistry. You've got, again, different themes. You've got like St. Patrick's Day in here, haven't you? And Mother's Day ones in here, Christmas ones you get. There's absolutely loads and loads and loads of different ones that you get in this. So well worth treating yourself to if you like a little bit of a paper. Stock up. Today, real nice discount. You're saving yourself nearly £24 or nearly $33. So well worth treating yourself if you fancy it. Now is your chance to grab that one. Also, do you like a bit of a sparkle? Are you a bit of a magpie? If so, I'm giving you 20% off a set of 15 sparkle pens collections. Now, if you've not seen these before, you get these wonderful pens with a great amount of colour, but the colour goes a little bit further because of the sparkle. So if you're looking at the colours here, you can see how they are packed full with these kind of glitters to them. You get these ones which are crystal clear, so there's no kind of colour in the back with it. It means that you can put this over things like patterned cards and still see the pattern through. You're just going to get a bit of a sparkle on it as well. And then you've got all of these with loads of different colours, as you can see. The complete collection today, just $49.99 or $64.99. If you do love colour, let me bring in for you some inks. Now these ones are your water reactive inks, so it means that when you place water with these, you can create different designs, almost like watercolour effects. Let me run through your colours if I may. I've got for you Bordeaux today. I've also got your lemon tonic. I've got a plum jam here. Then I have a green topaz, as well as an ocean blue, one of our faves. We've got a baby blue. Grasshopper is in here, great for foliage. Damson wine, which is a lovely shade. Then I've got your crushed velvet, which I'll show you next to the damson wine actually, because you can see there is a big difference there. So yes, damson wine. And then finally your lagoon, which has got this wonderful aqueous blue green colour to it. So you've got plenty in here to be getting on with. And of course, as we say, you can stamp with them, you can blend with them, you can create almost watercolours with them. You can actually use them like paints if you want to. So yeah, that's a great deal for you today with that discount. Finally, I've got Glossy Highlight, which is, you get one, well, no, you get two, but it's a buy one, get one half price. This is just one pack, you will get two. So what we've got here is something that gives you a 3D effect and almost enhances colour. It's a little bit like, in a way, a 3-part epoxy resin or a 2-part epoxy resin in its overall finish, but it's already done, it's already mixed. You dab it on in whatever which way you wish, and it creates almost like little sort of teardrop designs, but it dries clear. So it's really, really useful to just give texture and a little bit of a glossy sheen to your design. A discount on this today, saving you 25%. Now, we know that you are crafting along with the lovely Debbie and the wonderful Jenny, but whilst you are catching up, don't forget, if you need to seize the moment on any of these offers and deals, or you fancy that free gift, don't forget, if you spend over £20 or $30, then I encourage you to check out your basket. Once you do that, we'll be back after this.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We've had to make some changes to our shipping charges and we want to keep you informed. With continued pressure on domestic shipments around mainland US, we've had to temporarily increase the cost of our regular 6 to 10 working day standard shipping service from $9.99 to $12.95 and our free shipping threshold from $100 to $125. We also have some really great news to tell you. We've introduced a brand new shipping service called Express Delivery. This is a fully tracked door-to-door service which takes 3 to 7 working days and costs $19.95. This option means you'll get your crafty goodies in your hands sooner, meaning less waiting and more crafting. We're also upgrading delivery services for our Gold and Platinum Club Inspire members who will now receive priority delivery on all of their orders. And if that wasn't enough, we've upgraded these orders to our new Express 3 to 7 day service. Your patience and understanding throughout this very busy time has been amazing. So we'd just like to say a huge thank you and we look forward to chatting to you again very soon.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Welcome back. Thank you very much to Mary Pat saying pecan pie is yummy and sweet. My youngest daughter requests it for her birthday cake instead of pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. Oh, so for a birthday cake and instead of a pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving.
Wow, it is a good one.
I feel like I need to get my laughing gear around one of those.
Just divine.
Welcome back to Crafters TV. Real nice to be with you today. How is your Friday going? I hope you're having a fab one. Don't forget, if you have worked with any of these collections before, you can let us know what you've made. We'd love to hear from you. Shall we carry on with the craft along and then we'll check in with the lovely Jenny. Let's do it. What are we learning next, please?
Right, let's cut out some extra pieces. So what we do want to do is gather all our bits and pieces to cut out all the elements. So I've got some black card, I've got some turquoise card, I've got some of the papers from the that paper pad, it's pick a mix, and then we've got I've just got some grey cardstock just from our one of our textured pads. So we're going to cut out our elements of those. So first of all, let's cut out some wheels. We can do all of these because I've got my Gemini plates. Let's grab the plates and then we can just start putting some of these on. So with the wheels, we're going to need 2 of those. So let's cut out a piece of card that's enough to cut our 2 wheels out of. So just there. So cut that one out. And then we're going to cut the inside pieces. So you can do, what I love about this, in fact, I suppose it was just to fill them. We've actually given you, or we've given you the inside wheel pieces, so you don't have to cut so many of those.
Hubcap.
Hubcap.
Is that what you'd call it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But only 1 wheel to cut out. So, but let's we can pop all those in. Let's have those. And then we want to create another strip. So we're just going to take one of these and we're going to cut that out of the blue. And also, I'm just going to leave that little bit longer because we can cut out some of our bunting as well.
Ooh, lush.
So cutting that out. Do you know what I love about things like this, Becky, is you could just get really creative.
Yeah.
And just have fun with all the different cardstocks that you got. Every crafter I know has a bit box.
Yeah.
So this is great for using up all your little scraps that you've got. And let's just pop that straight over the top. That will just hold those together. In fact, just so that doesn't slip, let's just pop that across. And our wheels. There we go. And then we want, what else do we want? We want to do our curtains. So I'm going to bring some of our pink. Now, what I am going to do, there we go. We will fold that in half. And I can cut through, because this is only more paper than cardstock, I can cut through 2 pieces of these in one go. So pop that on there and then just cut that piece off. So let's have our curtains. So we can cut our curtains in there. Oh, and with the I'll show you in a second. In fact, we need to do that. I've done that way. We need to do one each of the other side because they want to go alternative.
Ah, yes.
So pop them. And in fact, I am just going to cut a little bit off there, Becky, because we can then use our bunting to cut extras out. Let's pop that one. And then just use these ones to go the same way. There we go. Isn't it funny? I'm so excited that we've got the tape pens back in stock. Some things just absolutely thrill me.
Well, speaking of said tape pen, if you would like to know the information for how to get your crafty little mitts on said tape pens, cast your eye on our website, but also here's your details. There you go, right over there, like quite a bit over there. You see it on the screen? Yeah. Buy 3, get 1 free. That be your offer right here. It's not. This is for solid tape pens, by the way. We do have the dotties too. That is not in the shop of the show, but if you type that in there, 120 etc., or just tape pens, that's the offer that will come up. So have a little nosaroo on there. If you do want the dotty tape pens for all of those little delicate, phonetically, that's not a word, is it? But you know what I mean. All the info is here on your screen. Again, great discount deal on that one too. They're back in stock, so seize the moment because we've missed them, quite frankly, haven't we?
Miss them. Isn't it funny how it can be quite scary to miss out on something or to miss something and not have enough of them. My tacky glue is exactly the same. I always make sure I've got an extra bottle in my stash. So I never get down to my last bottle, ever. I always make sure that I've got another one in. And the tape pens are exactly the same because you don't want to run out of them. They are so hugely popular and I know why, you know, when you love something so much. Right, so let's take out, so we've created our little curtains. So we need 2 curtains, or 2 blinds, should I say, and then your curtains themselves, we're cutting one way and one the other. So then when you turn them around, just like so, you get then your equal curtains on each side, okay? So that's our curtains for our window. We've got our blinds there, and then we're just going to cut out some bunting. So out of our pink, just try not to lose all my little pieces. So let's have some extra bunting, pop those through, and in fact we could put them through our mini machine because they're just small ones.
It'd be quite nice actually to cut out all of the little accessories and then maybe when, you know, your grandkid comes over or whatever, you can go kind of decorate your own van and all of the pieces are cut out and they can pick them up and try them out in different places. So you've done all kind of the cutting work, but I think they'd find fun.
Decorate it. I love that idea. Yeah, absolutely. That's a brilliant idea. Do you know what, Becky? That's really given me an idea. We're going away for my granddaughter's birthday, not this weekend, next weekend. Oh. We're just going to the Norfolk coast. I hired a caravan for the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's my granddaughter Ruby's birthday on the Saturday. So I think that's a brilliant idea. I'm going to make some of these boxes and then make all the bits to put in the box, and then they can just decorate it
And then they
themselves.
can, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
to make their sort of
absolutely.
dream van.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I love that idea. Right, so a couple more pieces. So I want to do just a few extra bunting. So we've got our bunting. And also, actually, while I'm there, let me just cut another piece, because we do have the streamer for the bunting. So
right.
that's this long one here. So you can actually create your own bunting. So pop that on there, and actually I might be able to fit my little pennants on as well. So add those in. There we go.
Little case.
Yeah, the Mini is so handy, isn't it? It's just at hand all the time.
And that's good as well if you are going camping. You don't even have to plug it in.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Right, so let's have our little bunting pieces. Let's just get these all out of the way so I can see exactly what we've got. And then we've got our wheels. I love these, the detail in these. We need to cut out another wheel, don't we, as well? But look at the detail in these are just brilliant. So cut these other pieces out. So we've got our background piece. Oh, I meant to cut, you know what I meant to do, and I'm going to do that because it does make a real difference, because when you sort of look at your hubcaps, it's making them sort of, and I suppose it just depends how much work you want to put into it, because actually you could just use these to go over the top so they can go underneath these on the top there, which create your sort of hubcaps. But what you can do is if you cut your die into these circle pieces, you get an even better sort of design. Let me just grab my pokey tool.
Oh, because it sort of makes them hollow.
Yes, exactly. Which is how your hubcaps look. So we can just pop them into there and then put some tape across the top. There we go. And just over there. Whoop. There we go. Tell when I'm concentrating because I'm very quiet.
Do not forget, if you've got any questions for Debbie, you can message us in on our socials. If you've got any questions for Jenny as well, do feel free to message us in, and we can ask her when we have a little natter to her in a bit. Jenny, I know that you're listening and crafting along. Georgina's just come up with a great idea. When we come back, plot spoiler alert, I'm going to be asking you for a top tip for craft. It could be anything to do with paper craft, just a top tip.
I love that.
You get thinking, because I think that's a good one.
Absolutely.
What would yours be?
My top tip. Oh, I've got so many. What would a top tip be? So the best one I could give, especially as we've got our Geminis on offer, is to turn and rotate your plates. So that would definitely be a really good tip. Yep, absolutely. The other top tip, as we're using these, is to tape your dies down, your mini dies down. I have another top tip as well, which I did do a long time ago. With all these little dies, years ago when I had a machine, I got myself a little magnetic mat, a little magnetic sheet. So you know you get the magnetic sheets that go in your binders.
In your binders, yeah.
Cut a piece of that off and attach it to the top of your Gemini. So when you're using little dies, you could literally just pop them on there to hold your dies on top of your machine. And then they're all there ready to put away. And it's made me think of that because my dies are everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I remember years ago, I used to have a little magnetic strip on the top of my machine.
That's clever.
Just to put your dies on top, and then you never lose them because it's so easy to whip them up with the rubbish or put them in the bin. I mean, I'm sure you've probably lost dies in the past where you've probably thrown them away. So yeah, that's a nice little top tip.
That's a great top tip. Thank you. Very handy idea.
And then what's another one? Oh, making a little Gloria glue booth to hold your little glue holder in. That's always a good one. Yeah, my Gloria's pimped up. Anyone that doesn't know what a Gloria is, I call her Gloria. I named her Gloria the glue booth. So, and I've just thrown her right under the counter.
Oh, she doesn't like that one bit.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, I've blinged Gloria up and put some gems on my glue bottle. It literally is just a plastic water bottle, and I just cut the top off and it holds your glue in. And what's the biggest tip about this is because it keeps your glue upside down all the time, you never get a rusty pin. When you do take your pin out, pop it inside there, and then you never lose your pin as well because it's always inside, so you don't lose your pin either.
Real.
So yeah, so that's a few of my top tips.
I love
So definitely let us know what yours are.
Do message in.
Right, before I do anything else, I'm going to tidy up and put all my little dies back on. Because we've used these grey ones, I'm not sure what are my dies and what are my grey pieces. So let's just move those over and pop these back onto our sheet. There we go. And that one.
By the way, if you do need any storage, like your magnetic storage, I've got some coming up in a little bit.
Oh, that's handy.
Isn't it?
I love storage. I'm a bit of a storage girl. I love keeping things all stored away. Let's pop that one on. Right, so we've done all those pieces. So now I just need a couple more. We're going to take this little piece here. This is actually your headlight. I mean, you could cut that out of mirror card, or I'm just cutting out of this grey cardstock that I've got. So we're just going to, again, pop that on. I've got the little bit here, which is our door handle, then our little headlight. So we're just going to place those through. So it's just a case of cutting out all these little mini pieces that you need to create. I'm really excited though. I can't wait to make these boxes now for my granddaughters.
Oh, I think that'll be good fun.
Such a nice idea.
And dead quick for you to do as well, right?
Yeah, really quick. And actually, my Ruby has a Gemini Mini. So, so what I might do is just take some cardstock, and she could just cut out all her own little pieces as well.
Cute.
She's going to be 7. I can't believe,
Wow.
yeah, I cannot believe she's going to be 7. I don't know where the time's gone.
Oh.
Yeah, it just goes far too quickly. Right, I do think we've got all our pieces to put it all together now. So, do you want to take a break, or do you want us to just carry on? So let's let everyone carry on with their cutting. I'll just quickly recap what we've got here. So we've got our 2 wheel hubs here with our inners. We've got 2 wheels. We've got, oh, I know what we haven't cut out. We haven't cut out, let's grab some of my Centura Pearl. We actually haven't cut out the wheel trim. So we're just going to do that, cut out our wheel trim, and then and I'll let you all catch up on all your bits and pieces.
Gorgeous.
So trimming that one out. Again, because that's just a nice straight one, I think we can get away with that in our, it's a little bit long, but actually what you can do, and there's a good little trick as well, you can put part of it through so you can see the end of it is sticking out. But you can cut the part that will cut out, hold that into place, and then we can just turn that round and cut the other piece through. So it'll do that really quickly, and you'll get your full cut. So it doesn't always have to be. There we go. Cut that piece out. And then we've got our wheel trim. So your wheel trim is what's going to go round here and guide you where your wheels are going to go. Okay, so I'll let you all catch up with your die cutting, have your little curtains, your bunting, and then we'll stick all this together in a few minutes.
Lovely bubbly, thanks so much. So whilst we're doing that, let's have a little look at our storage. So have you got a few dies? Even if you're just starting out, trust us, you're likely to end up with a fair few dies, especially as some packs such as this come with such a massive amount of dies. This is a lovely way of storing your dies, not only so that they're always to hand when you need them, but also so that they stay safe. We have got for you here magnetic elements. Now I'm well aware that I'm holding this upside down. We have got for you the magnetic elements. So these sheets for the larger ones come with the magnetic sheets. You're going to get a few of those wonderful shims, and then we've also got storage in here as well for your pockets. You're going to get a multiple of those. You're getting 2 packs of the magnetic panels, which you can absolutely stash fill. Then you are also getting a discount on that one as well. So that's a great one if you've got sort of larger pieces. I've also got the smaller folder for you, and just to give you an idea of the difference in size. There we go. You can see these ones are smaller. So these ones are great for your small dies. They're fantastic, and they really do hold a lot. And as you can see, they don't, although there is absolutely loads in here, you've got so much space essentially within this. So if you do want to treat yourself, because you need to keep them nice and clean and tidy, this is the way that you can treat yourself to them. And let me remind you too, you can get the magnetic ones like these ones here, or you can get your acrylic sheets. So these be your acrylic sheets, and what you've got here is the opportunity with these to keep your stamps, for example, really nice and organized. But there's plenty of space within one of these to add a few different folders, so it's absolutely and completely up to you. Let me pop that back in there. So choose which one is best for you. As well as those, I have got Centura Pearl cards, which is what lovely Debbie has been working with a fair bit recently. So I've got for you a range of colours within this. In fact, you're going to be getting 100 sheets of this in total. If you've not seen Centura Pearl before, it's bosh. So let me give you your colours. We've got baby blue, we've got a cherry, we have a lilac, we've got a mint green, we've got your royal blue. This one here is lavender, and this one's out of the package, so it gives me an idea. Look at that. Woohoo! Positively glowing. It's beautiful, isn't it? Then I've got for you deep purple. I've also got your fuchsia as well, which is divine too. Then I have got turquoise, and I've got green as well. So it is up to you how many packs of these you want, but remember, you don't have to choose your favourite colour, you get all of those. It's time to head on over the water and check in back with Jenny. Hi Jenny, how are you getting on?
I'm doing good.
Good. Can we have a little nosy at what you've done so far?
I've actually gone ahead just a tiny bit, sorry.
Whoa! Oh, I love. Oh, you've gone for craft card with it. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm using craft card today.
That's brilliant. I love that. Is that kind of the general aesthetic you'd go for? Do you like using craft card?
I love using craft card. I use it so much. I have to kind of like remember that I have other cards in my stash. I don't have to always use craft cards, but
I love that. Now, Jenny, I did warn you that I was going to be asking for a top tip. What are you going to share with us?
okay, the first thing I would say is, because I'm knee deep in organizing right now, because I've revamped my whole craft area.
Wow.
So I would say make notes when you're crafting as to what you want to have quick access to. So you want to make sure that your most used things are not stored away in totes or something, so that you can easily grab
it when
them.
you need it. Great idea.
So I've been taking lots of notes so that I make sure that I have those things to hand. And then the other, just a real simple thing, is I keep a little magnet sheet, like one of the ones that go in the Total Tiffany organizers.
Yeah.
And I keep it handy so that if I can't get my dies back on my carrier sheet right away, they won't get scooted around on the desk because they're on a magnet sheet.
Oh, these are fabulous top tips. Jenny, how is the organising of your craft room going?
It's going good. I was going to have it all set up for today, but the one piece that I'm waiting on, because I got the Crafter's Companion Instant Desk,
Oh, congrats.
and my pegboards haven't come yet, so I can't finish putting everything away until all that's done. So probably next week.
next time.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to have a good old nosy around once it's done. Jenny, thank you so much. We'll chat to you a little bit more in a moment or two. But before that, everybody at home, we're getting ready to start again. So have your brews at the ready and let's carry on with the craft along.
Thanks, Becky. I love Jenny's top tip, especially the one about not putting things away that you use all the time. So for me, especially your embellishment dies, so things like your flowers, your butterflies, just leave some of them out in a little pot on your desk so you've always got embellishments to grab whenever you need them for whatever your makes are. Because I've learned that over the years, you put everything away in its sort of collection, but there's lots of things in those collections that you use every day on all sorts of things.
Great point,
yeah, absolutely great tip. Right, let's get sticking. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use that wheel trim. This is what governs where everything goes into place. I'm going to be bringing in my little glue bottle. So nice intricate nib this has on it, which is great for being able to add your glue to just where you need it. You could also use your dotty tape pen. If you're running low, we have them back in stock, which is amazing. We were getting all a little bit worried that they were taking their time to come back in, but we do definitely have them in stock, so stock up on those. Is the dotty tape pen on offer as well, George?
Oh yeah.
Oh, both.
Three.
Oh, fabulous. Absolutely
4 for 3.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Right, so you can see your wheel trim fits absolutely perfect around your wheels. I love that everything has been thought about. Then we're going to put on the base tyres, so our black ones. So again, just using the glue just to pop those into place. And that gives you just enough room around there to create those that white around the edges. So I love that. All this attention to detail is what makes these look really professional. You can't go wrong because they're guided. Everything is guided for you and made to measure, made to fit, which is incredible. So we're putting our wheel trims. Then we're going to put the inner wheel trims on.
Oh, just thought you could make it like a tour bus. You know, if someone's in a band.
Oh yeah.
You could put like the print off the band logo or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, let us know if you've made one out of a different type of, you know, whether it's a burger van, ice cream van. There's so many different varieties of vans out there, aren't there? And little lorries, mini little lorries are good.
Yeah.
And I just think different colours makes the whole project look so different. Like Jenny's out of craft card, looks incredible. If you use black card, it would give it another dimension, and even coloured cardstock. What I love about this, I'm keeping this quite pretty. I love the fact that you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah.
So if you want a grungy bus, you can have a grungy bus. If you want a flower power bus, you can have sort of a 60s. That would be an idea, a nice 60s sort of flower power one. For somebody's birthday, like who was born in the 60s or 60th birthday, that would be cool. So there we go, so we've put them on, so it's starting to get that realism about it all now. And then we've got our strips, so these strips are great. Before we put our strips on, let's bring in our actual driver's door here. So we're going to pop that, and you can see that will fit directly into that space over your wheel arch just here. So let's pop this on here. So bringing that round.
I've had an idea as well.
Oh, what's your idea?
If you've got someone who's got a camper van, you know what people with camper vans love? Cushions. Imagine getting fabric, because of course these are wonderful dyes, you can cut this shape into fabric. Imagine making a camper van cushion that mimicked the camper van of which the cushion of camper van is going to live in.
You lost me. A camper van. Say it again.
Like, imagine someone's got a camper van, a VW camper van, in the following colours, blue and yellow, for example. Then you use this, cut it out in fabric, either sew it onto a cushion or just stick it on in blue and yellow. Here you are, here's a present, a cushion of a camper van that mimics the camper van that you have that the cushion's going to go into.
Yep, perfect.
Just an idea.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Or you could just make your cushions like Becky had on earlier with her yellow and blue cushions.
Yeah.
Which would go lovely in your camper van.
Yeah. Make one of
Absolutely.
them, whack a camper van on it, win, win.
Win, win, win.
Winnebago, you might say.
I love it.
This isn't scripted.
That would be very nice to have one of them, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Right, now you've got your side stripes. So what we're going to do with this one, this is going to go from the back to the front here. Now you can either stick the whole thing on and trim it in between. So I'm going to stick it to this part here, and then we're going to trim along. So what I'm going to do is just make a little mark. So let's pop that there. We're just going to put a little dent mark. I'm using my scissors. If you've got a pokey tool, bring in your pokey tool. Sorry, my scissors. I'm using my nails. Just put a little line down there so you know exactly. And in fact, because we've put that line, we can just cut that directly off. Just making sure I get that light in the right place. There we go. And then we've got our two pieces, so we can glue that into place. Oh, I've stuck my glue bottle right in there and it wouldn't come out. Let me pop that on. So again, just using the glue or your dotted tape pen. There we go. And then we're going to put that just over our wheel arch, just here. There we go, across there. And then we're going to follow that on, but now this will open. Just drop my little bit. We're going to follow that on onto this side, just here. So again, applying the glue to the back and then popping that into place. So I'm going to follow that on from where that door is, just over those wheel arches. So it looks like that's following through. And then we've got our little spotlight here. I say spotlight, it's our headlight, which we're just going to pop right onto the top, the base here. That one onto there. That would look good, I think, out of mirror card. Really
Sharon, sorry, I will come back to you, Sharon. Dee had a question. Debbie, you were talking about making a ladder earlier on. Could you use the door handle to make the rungs of the ladder, or would it be too small?
The door handle, yeah, it would be quite small. It depends. Yeah, I mean, if you were clever to cut this into half, because can you see, if we put two pieces of that, it would just look too small.
Right.
But you could cut this one in half. But what I would do, I would do just two of these strips and then use one of these to make your rungs.
Yeah.
Just cut them in between, cut them all off at the same length, probably about an inch, three-quarters of an inch, half an inch.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd need it too much.
Lovely.
And then we've got our little door handle here, so we're going to pop our door handle on. So onto there. I love that everything's been thought about, from the door handle. Oh, I've put the door handle on, but actually I want to put this on. So I'm just going to pop this into place so I don't put my door handle too low. So I'm going to pop that just at the side.
Oh, Sharon's got a top tip.
Oh.
My top tip is that I use my mini purple CC notebook from the birthday giveaways.
Oh, I've got that. I still use mine.
Me too. To write in tips from the shows, like the sandwich configuration, for cutting out puzzle mount boards, which type of papers to use for different projects,
brilliant.
when to use different adhesives, and therefore it has become my crafting go-to. So that's really
crafty
cool.
Bible.
Yeah, it's got all of your hints and tips in it that you go, hang on, I remember, I've written this down somewhere. That's a great tip, thank you for that.
Yeah, really good tip.
Message in yours, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you.
I do that with all my Spectrum Noir products. So I have a book like that, which I put all the tips and hints and tricks. So when we do like watercolour, I can just think, right, what demos do I want to do with that? And I've got lists of all the different techniques that I can do to make those demos. Because sometimes you just forget off the top of your head what they are.
That's true.
So yeah, I do have a book for all of that, which is the same sort of thing, just putting all those tips and tricks down. The other good thing to write in books like that is shows that you want to watch back, because we have so many. You have a book that you can just then put when they were, when to go back to, what they were for, ones that you really liked, or ones that you bought that item in the show, so you can actually go back and watch.
That's a good idea.
So all I'm going to do here, Becky, we're going to pop our curtains top and bottom, and then I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So just along the top and down the edges.
Georgina's come up with a great top tip. You can tell by the enthusiasm in my voice.
I didn't actually hear.
Oh, well, buckle up, because this is going to boggle your mind. When tape pens are in stock, stock up. I mean, that could be a tattoo, couldn't it? Could be a tattoo.
It's not a bad top tip. Yeah, it's not a bad one.
It is.
I think it's up there with the good ones.
It is up there, near them, I reckon. But no, it is a very good point to make. We do have our tape pens in at the moment. 3 for the price, no, 4 for the price of 3. So if you do want to grab them, they're on the website right now. Just search for tape pens, and we're doing the same deal in Dotty. Also, don't forget, if you check out at any one time, £20 or $30 worth of goodies, it might be tape pens, you are going to get a free mystery gift. So do feel free to do that today.
Absolutely. You could just spend £20 on tape pens, which you would absolutely need and use, and then you would get a free embossing folder. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Right, so we've put all our windows, our curtains in. We've got our little door. So if you just bend that back, they will just bend into place. So you've got that workable door, so that's really cool. But your lines all then match up, which is fabulous. And then we're going to just make our little bunting. So where your bunting is, we're going to pop this into place. So I'm going to use, again, my tacky glue to put the bunting on. So you could just put little dabs of glue across if you don't want it coming out too much. You definitely want to use a little precision glue bottle to do this. And then all we're going to do is pop this across here. In fact, I want to put that a bit higher, I think. Let's pop that across there. There we go. Don't worry if your glue's gone anywhere, because it dries clear. And then we're going to start to pop our sections in. So they're all the same. Again, putting it just at the top, the glue into the top. You could put foam pads on these to 3D them up, but they look cool just coming off. So I'm going to put my first one in the centre. I don't think that's very central. I think this is more central here. Not that it matters greatly, because your bunting can go anywhere. And then we're just going to go along, putting that glue on the top of our bunting, and then just adding that to each section. So just leaving a gap in between. And then our next one. And obviously you can fill this up. You could leave a more gap. I think I've got a little blockage in my glue. Let's see if that works. And then again, just add in. Yep, definitely doesn't want to play ball tonight. Let me just
do not forget as well that although these dies are small, they're mighty. So you could actually, for this, do the whole card out of card, but make the bunting out of fabric, because that'll add a really interesting different texture to it, won't it?
Yeah, I love that idea.
And we have got some fabric coming up, and when I say some fabric, I do not mean your general, kind of mass-produced, find it anywhere kind of fabric. I am talking, wow, artisan, artistry, next level, beautiful fabric. It's coming up really, really soon. So even if you are not a seamstress, this is the type of fabric that I think you can fall in love with. And again, you could use it for this type of craft. We're going to be finding out more about that and actually the process of making the fabric in a little bit, just to let you know.
Right, so now what we're going to do, we're pretty much not far off finishing, because what we're going to do is now construct our box. We're going to just pop my glue at the side, and then we're going to bring our box back in. So once we've got that one, now we're going to use our foam pad. So, and we're also going to use that other piece of white one to pop that onto. So because we want that to have a little bit of a 3D look, because we want to make it look like you've got windows. Now, if you're clever, you could use other papers behind, little stamps, and stamp some sentiments into the background. We're just going to pop this up onto, so I'm going to put some onto the wheels to start with, and then we're just going to go round the tops just using our foam, and then just down at the side. So wherever you think you want to put them, pop another one there, and then we'll just do one at the top here. So you can add more on if you want to put extras out.
So long as you don't do the door, you're fine, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Only because you just know people, even though there's nothing to look at behind the door, you just know people will want to open the door.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to place that directly over the top.
You could put a picture. That is exactly what I was just going to say, Georgina. You could put a picture of somebody.
Do you know what you could do? Your passport photo.
Yeah, yeah, you could. Or you could just get a photo of you from, you know, far away, whole body, and just print it out, because you can resize it, can't you? Print it out on your printer.
Absolutely. Now, before you put onto your box, just make sure you know which way round it opens. So once you've got your opening, then you know. So we're going to pop this at the back. Now, you're not going to stand it up like that. What we want to do is put the wheels on the back. So you just have to have it where you can see the top of the wheels there. So let's just, first of all, we need to put our glue all over that top piece. And then we can glue our backing on. So there we go. I'm using obviously my tacky glue. If you did want to use your tape pen, you can. They're strong enough. You just want to make sure you massage them in to give them that sort of extra bit of adhesive. And then I'm just checking on each side that I've got it quite even on each side, just so it gives, it makes sure that our box is even with what's going in there. And then we can turn that round and then see on the back. So you can see, I think we can pick it up this side, so you can see that level going across there, okay? So you just want to line that up. So just bring my box down, and that gives you a completely straight box. There we go. And in fact, if you took the lid, the centre piece out, you could then line that up better and push it down. So that would be a really nice tip. Look, another tip.
Yeah.
Tips.
All right, you're just showing off now.
And actually, you could then just pop that on as well. So let's do the same on the other way. So on the side. Oh, I love that. Did George just say something about vellum?
Rhonda apparently is saying vellum in the windows.
Oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah,
You'd have
that is
to
a good idea.
cut it bigger than what you're covering, so the adhesive would be hidden, but that would work excellently. I love that idea, yeah.
So,
You could even do a whole family, right? So take a picture of someone's face from the side, like this, put them in the driver's seat, yeah? Then like kids at the window, like, hey! And then open the door and put like the quirky one of the group.
do you know what
there.
you could get? Because they used to do like when you're at the little school, they used to do a class photo every year.
Yeah.
So you could cut all their little faces out and put them in the bus, couldn't you? Because they'd all be little photos. So,
Yeah, that is
that would
such
be cool.
a cute idea.
So there we go, gluing them on. Let's just pop our little box in for a little bit of rigidity. And, oh, there we go. Pop that in. Oh, what have I done?
What have you done? Right,
I didn't mean to do it like that, but actually, it's a bit of a different way to doing it. Look at this, totally different. Look.
Oh yeah, I get it.
There you go, look. So there's
Yeah.
a slidey part on there, but this one is like your tray part. Actually, that doesn't look right now. I put it down.
brilliant.
So actually, I quite like it like that. You could
do like
George, 2
drawers.
boxes. Yeah, you could do a double-decker bus. Look, so because
Love it.
because that would fit. Look at that. You could put 2 boxes in. So you can
Yeah.
make another one. I feel like I've just reinvented. I've reinvented the bus.
I love it. I love it. That's a great idea.
So put it either way. So yeah, it could go on to this way. And actually, it's quite rigid, isn't it? I love that. I can make another little wrap for a box, and you've got 2 drawers on there.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Or
There we go.
put little like Lego-esque characters in that top set, and it could be like a tour bus, couldn't it? Like, oh, look over to your left, and you'll see a really old building no one remembers anything about. That'd be really cool.
So there you go. Two different
Doing
ways
great.
of doing it without me even realising it.
I love it. If you would like to recreate this in whichever way you choose, I've got the opportunity here. Let's start off with our bag. So this is a lovely bag design here. And the thing is, we're saying it's a handbag, right? But you've actually got sections here where you can make it into a purse. This could be a briefcase. You could cut this out of faux leather, actually, and it could be like a satchel or a briefcase. There's loads you can do. As well as that, I have got for you if the shoe fits. And this creates some stunning elements, such as this beauty. So yeah, if you do want to treat yourself to these, you can. And then if you do want to get this one, which is, if the shoe fits is by itself at the moment, but if you just want the camper van one by itself, then you have the opportunity on screen now. And again, you know, you can make it into the box designs as the wonderful Debbie just has, or you can make it into a card. If you want a little bit more inspo, I've got the lady for you. Can we have a little nosy at some other ideas, please?
Yes, absolutely. I love showing samples. We just have a great design team who do just beautiful samples. Now, as they were intended, making your card blank, which means that can you see, it's just one fold in the middle. You cut it into your card and then you use all those elements to decorate. All these little tags that you've got in there, just so cute. We all know someone that loves a handbags or our shoes, which look so lovely. You can use whatever you've got in your stash. You can make these into fabulous little easel cards as well, which look great. I'll show you one more here. So all those different ones. You could have a couple, you could make them into triple easels, double easels, which would be really lovely. And then you've got the shoe. So a beautiful little shoe here. I love this one, using your mirror card. I love the fact that they literally stand up, so they look fabulous. And you can use them in different ways. So that one you can see is literally over the top, so cut into the top. This one is cut at the side. So two different ways of doing them, but both of them look absolutely fabulous. Now, using different papers that you've got in your stash, again, making them as the card blank. You could put some little pieces of card inside, which just adds to the rigidity of them and helps them to stand up. But actually, I find that when they're just done as a card, they will stand up too anyway. I love the sentiments in there. This one here is, you don't have to be crazy to camp with us, we can train you. Absolutely love that. And just doing them in whatever papers you've got in your stash, using them on your cards as well, so don't think you just have to do card blanks. Love this. Look, doing two pairs, I mean, look at those. How beautiful do they look? I love the rainbow mirror card on the heels there.
Yeah,
look
cute.
Absolutely amazing. Oh, look at this one. Look at that sample. Yes, ice cream van, absolutely gorgeous. But again, just using your shoes in different ways, putting them onto the front of your card, and one more, showing that gorgeous bag. Love this, actually putting it on there, but having it as your opening card on there. So really gorgeous designs, and great to use and fun to create with.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for showing us those. How's your craft along going? Shall we check on in, actually, with the wonderful Jenny and see how Jenny's is getting on? Jenny, don't forget, has gone her own crafty way with some craft card, which looks particularly interesting. So let's have a little look at Jenny's. Hi again, Jenny.
Hello.
Okay.
So I went with Debbie's idea after I just waited while she was working on it. I'm like, I like that.
Yay!
So I did that.
I love it. I feel like I've invented a new idea there. It looks great, doesn't it?
That looks
My door
gorgeous.
opens.
That looks lovely
And
with
then
the craft card.
I lined my paper because this
Oh,
is from that
beautiful.
home away from home. I think it's the one and then I just lined that inside my box.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love the way that lines in. Wow. Are you going to be doing 2 layers, or are you just keeping it as it is?
I am going to make another drawer for that because I really like that. I think that would be perfect.
That's gorgeous. Now, Jenny, I do know, of course, that you have this wonderful set. Do you mind if we're nosy and have a look at some of your other makes?
This is another one I did with the camper, but I made shaker windows.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is so clever.
So there's a shaker behind the door.
Oh,
Just a little mini
yeah.
shaker.
Tiny.
And behind the other windows, I made little shakers.
Oh my goodness, how cute is that?
Love it, so nice.
And then, have you got a bag one? A shoe and a bag? Oh,
Yeah, I've
look.
got a shoe and a bag.
Oh, wow. That is, ooh, that looks great with that inside.
That was the peacock paper.
Oh, I love that paper.
And then for this one, I did a little Velcro dot. And then I put some sentiments inside of it.
That's so clever.
Brilliant. Very clever.
That's a really clever idea. I love that. And it looks like it's got sort of a bit of a dome to it, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that.
That's really, really clever. Jenny, when you make these, do you make them with someone in mind? Or have you made those and you're going to save them until the right time?
Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I just kind of come up with an idea and then I think of someone later.
I love that. That's always a great way of doing it. Oh, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us once again. It's been really lovely having you on.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
top
Jenny.
tips. We will see Jenny
Thank you.
very, very soon. Bye-bye for now, my love. Oh,
Bye.
she's gorgeous, isn't she? She's so lovely. Aren't those makes incredible? We have got so much on the way. Debbie Fisher, it has been a pleasure. When are you next in?
Always. On Monday. I'm back in on Monday. Yeah, we've got Lily and Craig up over the weekend, so they're going to be entertaining you, which is going to be amazing. So yeah, have a lovely weekend, everybody, and thanks for joining in today. So it's been a blast. It's sort of been all females in the studio tonight, which is lovely.
Ladies! Speaking of ladies, we have got coming up for you now an opportunity for you to get your hands on unique individual artisan elements that you too at home can create. This is just an idea of some of the things we are going to be offering to you today. Each and every one of these fabulous fabrics, unique, individual and created for the wonderful Trang Fabrics. We are going to be chatting with the wonderful Becky from this fabulous team in just a few moments. But don't think that, oh, I don't sew, so I won't be able to use these. Oh, trust us. There is fabric in here that once you see it and understand the process and the artistry and also the history of it, you are going to be wanting to use this in your mixed media pieces. Don't go anywhere. We're going to find out loads more after this.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. Ah, the neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day. Quick Buy. All your crafting must-haves in a flash. Make light work of intricate and delicate die-cutting designs with the Pokey Tool from Crafters Companion, an absolute essential part of any paper crafter's kit. Its precise tip has been designed to release the tiniest pieces to reveal your finished results with absolute precision. And to make sure your finished project is perfect, Each pokey tool has a rubber tip protector, so there's no risk of damaging your die cutting design or yourself. The Crafter's Companion Pokey Tool is such an essential craft item, we've included 2 in each set. Quick buy, get yours now.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Hello and welcome back to the Tracy Clear Up region. Do you want me to walk over there, D. George? Right, no problem. What? Don't look at me like that, Tracy. Tracy, didn't you know that this is the behind the scenes element? What? That's the behind the scenes. What do you want now? There are my notes. They are, Tracy. Can I have them back? Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, don't prove that I've had 2 brews in the last hour. Anyway, hiya, how are you? Welcome. We are here over at the lovely Crafters TV, and we have got with us the fabulous Becky. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Again, yes, good. It's been a long old day. I feel like I've been living here, I have to say, today.
Well, that's probably because we locked the doors and asked you to pay the mortgage.
Yes.
We're very, very glad to have you today. Now, the incredible Becky is with us because we have got an incredible fabric. This is Shang's fabric that we are looking at today. And this is something that actually kind of you have fallen in love with, but something that actually has been part of your family for a while now.
Yes, so my aunt set the company up quite a few years ago. She'd been to China and had a sort of a trip around, and she saw all these beautiful blue indigo fabrics sort of hanging in the breeze, and she thought they were really beautiful, so she decided to bring them back to the UK. And lots of people had seen them. She started in a quilting group, and loads of people were saying, well, actually, I'd quite like some of that. So she started importing it, and she created a few kits. And I used to go and help her at craft fairs and things like that, and also go to China with her so we could go and buy the fabrics. And then I just wanted to do more, and I sort of said to her, would you be interested in a partner? And she said, actually, I'm too old for doing this. I've had enough. I'm too tired. And so I took it over. And it came at just the right time in my life. I wanted to do something more creative than the job I was doing. And God, you say about falling in love with it. I completely fell in love with it. My children laugh at me because I'm always blue, because I'm always playing around with these indigo fabrics. So my family are actually Chinese, which is why my aunt happened to be in China on this trip. And it was sort of like an iconic thing, seeing these blue fabrics blowing in the breeze. And it's sort of spawned a whole load of sort of craft kits, quilting kits, that my aunt started producing, and then I've sort of expanded the range. So I've got about 47 different craft kits that I do now, which went from about 4 or 5 when my aunt was running the company. So it's just me. When I say company, it sounds very grand, but it is literally just me. I normally get one of my aunts to help, and possibly my mum. So they're the ones that often make the samples for me, which is great. And then I normally commandeer a few people into cutting fabric for me and building the kits.
Fabulous. Now, with these kits, we have got 4 different kits for you. You've got ones that will create lovely little bags or tablet holders. You've got one that will create a cushion. You've got one that will create a wall hanging, or I think it'd be quite nice even as like a chair throw.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a lap rug as well. Now, there's a beauty with these, but the real showstopper is different styles of fabric. And in this, we're almost looking at two different techniques, aren't we?
Yeah. So all the fabrics are indigo, so they are sort of Chinese based. We've got a couple of Indian indigos as well, but the main ones are the bean paste and the shibori fabrics. So we've got a little bit of some pictures and also a little bit of video to show you how it's being produced. So the bean paste fabric, and this is how this is produced, and it's effectively almost like a silk screen printing. So it's a very time-consuming process. So there is a stencil there, and then they push a mixture of soybeans, lime and water and make it into a thick paste, and they push it through almost like silk screen printing here. And then that once it's dried, acts as a barrier, so when they dye it in the indigo, that stays white. But you can see it's quite a lengthy process. This is not automated by any stretch of the imagination. This is very sort of slow. You're using four people to produce one small piece of fabric. So it's quite a long-term kind of sort of activity. Now the fabrics are made, and these particular ones are made in Shanghai, so it's an area where it can be quite humid. So because of this sort of sticky paste that you put on the fabric, you can only make it at certain times of the year, because otherwise it won't dry in enough time. So you have to allow the bean paste to dry on the fabric, and then it's dyed in the indigo. So I've got a little piece here that you can see. So this it looks a little bit like anaglypta wallpaper, which is always the sort of thing that I sort of tend to say to people, and it's quite rough. Now this is not being dyed at all. This has just been sort of effectively printed with this bean paste. It would be dyed in up to sort of 12, 15 dips of indigo, and then after that's been done, they then scrape off the bean paste with a knife. So it's not, again, that process isn't even automated in itself. No. And then it's given a wash. So you get these designs like these, where you get these beautiful deep blue colours, but with these quite crisp patterns. Now you will find that you'll get some irregularities, I suppose is probably the best term for it, in some of the fabrics, and that's because they're all handmade. So obviously with some of the bean paste, you can see here you get a little bit of cracking here and there, so you get a bit of a sort of mottled kind of effect. Now the stencils that we used for producing these are traditionally cut out of a piece of leather or a piece of sort of a textured paper. And so all cut by hand. We've got a couple of images to show you what those look like. So they are all cut by hand. So you can see, they're quite intricate with these designs. And this would be the stencil that is used to put that bean paste through. The next image we've got is a picture of the bean paste after it's had the bean paste put onto it. And it's sticky and it needs to be dried up high, which is why we have this issue with it being made at certain times of the year. And then after it's been dyed in the indigo, it's then left outside in the sunshine to dry. And you get this really effective look to that. It looks quite incredible seeing those sort of big curtains of blue.
So this is what your auntie saw that time when she went to China. So that is our bean paste fabric, which is in a lot of these kits. As well as that, though, we've got the shibori.
And the shibori is a Japanese term, but most people have heard of the word shibori. So it's effectively tie-dyed. So it's made in the Yunnan province in China, so it's quite a rural part of China. And the ladies will stitch the fabric together to make these sort of little designs. So you can see on the images there, it almost looks like bandages. It's because it becomes so sort of pulled together. And they sometimes follow a pattern, but sometimes they don't need to if they're just making a large piece of the same kind of fabric. But it almost becomes like a 3D kind of look to it.
It almost looks like a coral.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. This one, that image there, I always think looks a little bit like one of those Chinese lions, that you get.
Oh my goodness,
that kind of look to it.
Definitely.
And then after it's been stitched together, it's then taken to the factory and it's then dyed. This is a picture of the factory with my aunt. That is how the factory is, these large sort of vats of indigo. Now, when you dye with indigo, when you dip your fabric in there first of all, and then when you pull it out, it looks green. It's only when it oxidizes it becomes blue. So you can see that becomes a really dark blue color, and then they will cut the stitching that they've put together to get the images of the patterns, and then again, once again, they wash it and then hang it up from the this sort of outside for it to dry. So I've got a couple of samples here, so you can see what this looks like. So this is actually a tablecloth where you've got all these sort of twists and turns and pulls to make the fabric.
So every one of these is hand stitched.
Hand stitched
and unpicked.
And unpicked by hand, yeah. And they have to be quite strong in pulling these. These are just quite a thick, a sort of strong piece of cotton with a little bit of beeswax on it to allow it to move through the fabric nice and smoothly. So yeah, that becomes quite difficult to sort of stitch together. This piece of fabric is actually 110 centimetres wide, but that's how narrow it gets because it's being pulled in so tight. So then that's been dyed in the indigo, and then the stitching's been taken out, and that's when you can see these amazing patterns that you've got on the fabric.
All completely unique.
All completely unique. They vary in sort of colour and in texture because different people will work on different pieces of fabric. One lady will work on a piece of fabric about 20 metres in length. Wow. And so it's quite, you'll find sort of differences in that individual bolt, but every piece of fabric is unique and handmade.
Which is magical, that you get to work with something that is completely individual, that is completely unique. It's artistry meets artistry, isn't it, really?
I think
truly is. We have got the opportunity for you to get kits to work with this fabric. Let me tell you a little bit about the first one. Now, this one is the Audrey bag, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. I will let you know that this has been our most popular, now possibly because we actually demoed it earlier on. So just bear that in mind, if you will. In this, you are going to get what you need, essentially. Now, it includes all of your lovely fabric panels. It also comes with a really nice, comprehensive, and I've got to be honest, I had nose through it was this one earlier on. And as you know, I do a little bit of sewing. Sometimes I find the language is quite complex. I like the way that this is broken down. You haven't used too much terminology that means you have to know about sewing.
Yeah, I try to make it as simple as possible. And I've included my email address and my phone number. Not that I want everyone to keep phoning me, but also because, sometimes when you're making something, you may be a bit confused. You want a bit of help. So you can always give me a call or drop me an email and just say, well, actually, can you help me with this section? I've got confused or I've lost my instructions. So I'll be there to help you. So
in here, you get all of kind of your elements, including the likes of your lovely denims as well. I've got to show you this finished bag because you get the adornments too, don't you?
We were laughing about this earlier. Adornments, I love that, and I'm going to use that more often.
Do feel free.
Yeah,
do feel free. So you can create this fabulous bag, including, hand carved coconut wood here and these wonderful adornments. Don't forget that once you use up the fabric, you can always carry on using the measurements with other fabric that you have.
Yeah.
So if you do want to seize the moment on this one, now is definitely your chance. Today, just £28.50 or £41.28, and that is with the discount. We've got the cushion next up, which is really been sort of taking our breath away. Tell us a little bit about this one, please.
Well, I really loved the kind of blue, but I wanted something that was a bit bright. So I've made an option with pink in this colour. So I made a big quilt last year, and it was really popular, and the yellow was the most popular. And I just think it really sort of shouts. Having that blue and that sort of yellow is quite modern.
Yes.
So you've got two different types of shibori fabric in there. You've also got the plain navy, and you've got the plain yellow, and you've also got enough navy fabric to make an envelope back to your cushion. So you've got everything in there. What you might want to add is some wadding, if you want to quilt the top of that, and maybe a little bit of fabric just to back that section. But otherwise, you can just use it just as it is.
That's perfect, isn't it? What is the size of the cushion here?
I think
it's pretty big. It does say on it.
47 centimetre squares, so 18 and a half inches.
It's got squeezability.
It has.
Really, it does. So we've got all of that. We've also got a wall hanging. Now we've got the elephant and the tiger on this one, haven't we?
So we've got different fabrics on this one. So we've got the shibori fabric here around the outside, but you've also got this fabric here, which is an Indian mud print, which is a different process. It's a different kind of fabric. It's much, much lighter than the other fabrics, but it's all been handcrafted as well. So you're still using all these colours, the same kind of sort of feel to it, but a slightly different type of process that's being produced. But yeah, you've got the templates, you get the instructions, you get all the fabric to make the front, but you don't get any backing fabric or any wadding to go in there. But you can use that as a lap quilt, wall hanging, you know, so you could adapt that into a large cushion cover, that kind of thing, or maybe make it into a bolster cushion. You could potentially sort of run them all away, all long, rather than up like this.
Right,
and use
table runner.
Table runner, all sorts of different options.
And again, you keep, you know, the templates and everything. So this in different colours, but fabulous, wouldn't it? So there's that one which is on screen, $31.49 or $45.49, and then finally the wow factor one, which comes with so much fabric, with so much personality, doesn't it?
It does. So all of these fabrics, again, are handmade. You'll get sort of different variations of these fabrics. So, you know, that one's sort of very traditionally Chinese, isn't it? That kind of fretwork look to it. But you've got all these beam paste fabrics. They often use motifs that you see in Chinese folklore, Chinese stories, phoenixes, butterflies, dragonflies, that kind of thing. So I've given you a range of different fabrics in those, so you can use all sorts of different ones, and they will be different. Each pack you get will be slightly different.
There's a massive amount that you get, and this is the wow factor. Look at that.
And they just look, it's very simple design, but it makes the fabric sort of sing, doesn't it, by having this sort of simple design. And you've got all sorts of different feels to it. So each of the fabrics, you know, the actual pattern in themselves, they're quite busy. So having these sort of small sections of the pattern really sort of makes sure, sort of draws your eye to everything. And you'll get all the white fabric to make all the sashing. Again, you won't get any backing fabric or any wadding in there, but you can just use your own.
I think this is brilliant for almost like a sensory or storytelling device, you know, coming up with a little story for each panel, because I'm looking here, it looks like a loggerhead turtle and little dragon almost elements here.
That's a lovely idea, I like that idea.
There's loads of ways I think that you could use this and appreciate this. If you do want to seize the moment on this one, now's your chance. $41.85 or $60.49. That's a 10% saving, a big discount on that one as well. Becky, I'm going to let you get ready for demo, because we're looking at the cushion today.
Yes, we're going to do the cushion. Yep.
So don't forget, if you have got any questions for Becky, then absolutely do feel free to get in touch with us. If you've got any questions, because maybe you're not a seamstress and you're thinking, okay, how else could I use these? Message us in with your ideas perhaps, because don't forget, we can use our dyes with this fabric if we want to. So it's well worth seizing the moment whilst we are live, which is around about 6 minutes past 8 here in the UK. Do feel free to get in touch. And also don't forget, tell us what's giving you that Friday feeling. We'd love to know what you're up to with your evening, what you're scranning or eating, and of course what you're up to this weekend. Do feel free to get in touch on socials. For now though, Becky, the cushion, where do we begin?
So you're going to be getting two different types of shibori fabric, and you'll be getting some yellow and some blue. So first of all, you start off, I've given you too much fabric. I'd always rather give you too much than too little. So you just need to cut them into strips according to the instructions. So I cut my fabric into strips, and then I cut each strip in half. So I've got these manageable sections here, and I've already started stitching them together. This one does not want to lie flat, does it? So I've already stitched this one here and this one here with the blue fabric. Now it's up to you how you want to sort of lay your fabric out. I think it looks good having the shibori fabrics sort of broken up by the plain fabrics. So I'm going to give this a quick iron to flatten it, and then I'm going to sew this together. So you get basically one long strip of 4 different strips together, and then you cut those into sort of small squares. So I'm just going to get my iron and give it a little bit of a flatten, so it's easier for me to sew. So I've used my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on here. So it's really simple to do. We were talking earlier about which one was the easiest one to start off with. Now this one comes together really quickly. So actually it's a really good item to make, and I always think if you've never sewn before, a cushion cover is always a really good way of making something, especially if it's some fabric that you really love, to be able to make something and you then fall in love with it. Sometimes if you're making something that's more complicated like clothes, I lose interest part the way through. I'm happy to have them, but I sometimes find them a bit too tricky for me to be working on if I want like a quick fix. So I've just given that little bit of an iron. Then I'm going to pin right sides together this way round, and then I'm going to sew that so we've got a nice block of 4 strips in one long section. And I quite like, the other one that I've got, the other quilt that I made is, rather than using the yellow, is using a bright pink, like the pink of my top. And it was quite nice to use these bright colours with the blues to make it just look a little bit more modern, I suppose. I suppose in some ways I was getting a bit fed up with everything being blue in my house, and I wanted something a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
So I quite like having that mixture of that, like you said, that juxtapositioning of those different colours.
Definitely. And I would say as well, obviously the plain fabric you get in this, there's nothing stopping you using that on another project and you picking one that does fit in. For example, my living room's purple. I could pick purple fabric and save the yellow for something else, couldn't I?
Well, actually, I had the bean paste square one. I had somebody, rather than using the white fabric, she decided to use red. So she purchased some red, and she made it with the red. And the red and the blue worked really, really well. And it's just something very small, just changing that colour, but it made it look completely different. And I know that when I saw it, I was at an exhibition, and a couple of people were having a look at it, and they were like, well, where did you get the design for that quilt? And she said, oh, it's the same one as we've got here. And they couldn't quite get their head around it because it looks so different by using those different colours.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to give this another little press. And then we're just going to trim the edges off so everything starts nice and straight. Okay. When I talk to myself when I'm ironing, I always feel like I'm on a cookery show. You know how
Oh, yeah.
I would be
But
chatting.
to be honest, I actually do that at home when
Do
I'm
you?
cooking. Yeah, pretend you're on a cookery show. Absolutely.
Well, it makes the clearing up a little bit more interesting, doesn't it, if you're pretending that somebody's there watching you.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to give that little trim around the edge here. So I'm using my rotary cutter. I find the rotary cutter is really useful to use when you're doing these strips. Now, if you've already purchased, so I'm going using my other head, my Crafter's Companion head, the fabric cutter that we had on softer side earlier today, that would be brilliant for cutting these strips of fabric. So you could just sort of line it all up, and that would make it really, really simple and quick to do. Or of course you could use your rotary cutter and just cut them by using your ruler. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check to see the width of this. So the other ones were about 11.5 centimetres. So I'm going to cut those, cut across at 11.5. So what I want to do is make little, I want to make little squares, like so. So you will have, it will be roughly 12 centimetres each of these little squares, but they will vary depending on how you've cut your fabric. And that's taking into account that sometimes I was using inches, you might be using inches, you might be using centimetres, but around about 12 centimetres, which is, if I measure that here, 12 centimetres is just shy of 5 inches.
Okay.
So I'm just going to trim this little piece off here. So like I said, I try and give you too much fabric And now there's nothing to stop you from keeping these little pieces here. It's almost the right size, you know, you could almost use this for something else. And I always think actually you could always cut these into, you know, sort of smaller and then stitch them together and make a long strip. You know, yesterday, only a couple of hours ago, I was doing a little pencil case using sort of little strips like this. That could be another option to do. Because I always think that because this fabric has a story, it seems a shame to throw it away. You want to try and sort of keep it so you can use it for other things. And I want to try and use as much of it as possible.
Completely.
So I'm now going to start putting everything together. So I've already cut my other strips of fabric, and now I'm just going to decide how I'm going to put them together. So you're going to be putting them like so, like this. You can do them randomly. I quite like the idea of sort of following an exact pattern by putting them together. And we're going to stitch them. Is that the right way around? That's the one way around. Like so. And we're going to stitch them together in pairs first of all, and then stitch a whole row together, and then stitch all the rows together afterwards.
Brilliant.
So it's just a question of building them together like this. So you can see how that comes together. And this is why this design was actually a really good way, quite a quick way of getting a very effective look to your you know, your item that you're making. And I'm all one for making sure that things don't take too long. I like the idea of being able to sort of rush through and get something made, you know, in an afternoon wherever I can.
Yeah.
So,
And this is that type of project?
yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And then we've got the last piece that just goes over here. So you can see, you know, that's how it's going to look, and that's going to be like the cushion cover, the front part of it. Gorgeous. So I'm just going to start by putting everything together. So I'll just move these slightly out of the way, and I can start by sewing these little squares. Okay.
Quite a nice one too, because am I right in saying for this you are just sewing straight lines?
Yeah.
So for a beginner, because finding things like going around corners and doing circles and stuff, when you're a beginner it can be a bit daunting, but this is just straight lines.
This is just straight lines, and the pieces are fairly small because sometimes if all you want to do, make sure you do is stitch, you know, cut your fabric so it's all going to be square so you can stitch it together and be accurate with your seam allowance. So I've got the little, my favourite foot, for want of a better term. It sounds like I've got it's kind of a Prince Charming idea, looking for Cinderella, but I use this little foot on my machine which has a little guard against it, so it means that when you butt your fabric up against it, it sews in exactly 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it just makes everything easier. And like I say, I want to try and make things as easy as possible.
If you don't have a foot though, you can just use the guide on your machine.
Absolutely, you can. And if you haven't sewn often and you're a little bit concerned, I used to stick a piece of tape, coloured tape, from the sort of very edge of my sewing machine where my 1/4 inch seam allowance was, and I'd run it down sort of the front of my machine. So it meant that I was always looking not just where the sewing machine was, where the needle was going, but also where the rest of my fabric, the next piece of my fabric was moving to. And I found that quite useful.
That's a really good tip.
You know, you do have those little guides on your sewing machine, but you know, if the light's not very good or if your eyesight's not brilliant, sometimes having something that's really sort of brightly coloured, like just a piece of washi tape, I think works really well. And that's a sort of a very inexpensive way of you sort of being able to keep a bit of a control over what you're stitching and how much of a seam allowance you're using.
That's lovely. That's really nice.
But with the beauty with this is because it's quite you've got all these different angles and it's quite busy. If your stitching isn't quite straight, if for example if I look here, this little piece isn't quite as straight as I'd want it to be. So you've got a little bit of a gap here and there. It doesn't matter because as you sew everything together and you give it a press, no one's going to notice, and it's just going to be a really achievable way of looking at it.
Totally.
Very much easier to work with. Because I think, you know, if you're doing something and it goes wrong, in any kind of craft, like knitting, I find knitting really, I love it, I really enjoy it, I find it really therapeutic, but I'm not very good at it. And I'm only good at it if there's someone else that's around that can help me when I lose my you know, lose my place or lose a stitch. And then you get a bit disheartened. You know, you're working on something and you think, oh, actually that's got a big hole in it where I've dropped a couple of stitches. Whereas, you know, I want something that I can, you know, most people won't notice the errors that you make on your item. It's only really going to be you.
Completely.
And I think, you know, this is quite a nice design for you to start with and not have to worry that you're not got it quite the way you want it, maybe.
That's lovely. That's really good.
So I've done my first strip. So we're just going to continue putting these strips together in exactly the same kind of way. So do this one. So you've got this here. So we've got this. I'm going to sew these ones on here.
And just think about how fun this is, coming up with different options, you know, working them round in different ways. You could do like a yellow brick road across it.
You could do all sorts of different things. I mean, maybe you don't want to, you might want to sort of think, actually, I'm going to have one piece that's like that with all those sort of strips, and then another one that's like this. You've got all these different options that you can be doing. Or you could just make it sort of random. You could just put them any which way that you fancy. So it's entirely up to you. And I think that's what's quite nice, being able to have a play about with fabric, and then it makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You know, you like your fabric as well, don't you?
Oh, I love a good bit of fabric. Yep. I'm a huge fan of fabric. And actually, it's kind of interesting because I have worked with shibori before, but shibori silk before.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Not sewing, doing kind of different crafts. And I am well aware that when I used to get my hands on shibori, we're talking when it's still concertinaed up, sort of an inch in sort of concertina section by like 3 inches, and it was a lot of money. We're talking sort of around a tenner for a strip literally like that. I know it is kind of a different fabric, but the process is the same, and it was worth it because it is so unique and individual. I love with this though that you can get that individuality, but in pieces that are kind of workable, yet it still has its own individual personality, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think you're right, and I think, you know, looking at those kind of the shibori technique is so we call it shibori, even though there will always be this argument between the Chinese and the Japanese as to where it all started from. So being Chinese, everyone that I speak to in China says, oh no, the Chinese invented it. But anyone that's Japanese, I've got a friend who's Japanese, and his mum says to me, no, Japanese invented shibori. Obviously the term shibori is a Japanese term. But, you know, if you look at, but it's one of those things that it's an easier term to use than the Chinese name, and it's tie-dyed, and it's probably sort of made in exactly the same way, you know, whether it's in China or Japan. But I think with Japanese sort of designer like Issey Miyake did a lot of sort of shibori kind of fabrics. There were lots of sort of pleated fabrics, and it becomes sort of quite an iconic kind of feel to it, having something like that. And it does, you know, when you're changing the structure of fabric, aren't you? You're having something that's 2D becoming 3D. A little bit like the shibori when it's being produced, when it's being sewn together. I always find it quite fascinating to try and work out what designs are going to be there from, you know, sort of seeing the stitched fabrics, because it's almost it's nigh on impossible to try and work out what you're going to be looking at, because you're looking at something that's become 3D.
I love that with the kits. So you've got some kits that are just shibori based, such as the bag itself. This one though, you are getting the bean paste designs and the shibori designs. It's incredible that although you have got that juxtaposition between that wonderful iconic indigo and the pure white, but because of the technique, you've got one which is kind of loosey-goosey, feel free, everything's a bit different. And then you've got the bean paste one, which is quite structural. They work great together.
Yeah, they do. And I think that's quite nice, having that mixture of different sort of techniques and different designs. You know, whilst they're all blue, you know, it's quite nice to sort of see those different things. And I always like, whenever I go on holiday, I always sort of look at fabrics. I like, you know, if you're going to somewhere like Spain, you know, they're well known for their leather work and lace. And I always think it's quite nice to be able to pick up something from a country where, you know, they're sort of you know, fabrics or are sort of made specifically for them. Like, you know, in Thailand you get lots of batiks, don't you?
Yes, of course, yeah.
It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
really lovely thing to see. So I've got my three strips here. Now I made a mistake earlier when I was chopping everything up, which you're going to see here, and I've had to sew a little piece on there because I cut it too quickly, too small. But that wouldn't happen if you were doing it at home. That's just me not concentrating. I was watching the craft along. That's what it was. I'm watching that lovely. What was it called? You know, the camper van that Debbie was doing. So I got a bit distracted when I was putting that together. So I'm going to sew the last sort of strip together.
The colour in this is so iconic. It does remind me a little bit of kind of willow pattern, also almost like the Denby pottery colours.
Yeah.
What is it about this colour that sort of speaks to you?
I really like the fact that indigo is used everywhere. So every single continent has used indigo. You've got lots of sort of African indigo, Thai, it's used. Every single place on this earth has used indigo in their clothing because it's grown, you know, it's a natural dye. And I think, you know, blue's quite classy, you know, if you think of it that sort of way. If you think of, you know, Jean Muir, Jean Muir as a designer, she used to use, everything used to be blue and white. Right. And it was quite, you know, I know my mum said to me when I turned 30, she said, oh, you'll have to start wearing navy blue tights. And I was like, what? Why would I want to wear navy blue tights? And she said, oh, it's the thing, when you get older, you should be wearing navy blue tights and not black tights anymore. I've never worn navy blue tights. No, it's not for me.
But there is a wearability actually about the dark blue, isn't there? Because you think about it, jeans, denim jeans, the vast
classic.
majority are that denim-y blue. And this isn't a million miles away, which of course is probably why in the likes of the Audrey bag, you've gone for that pairing, right?
Yeah. And the fabric, in the, you know, saying about denim, that's how you treat the fabric. So you would want to have the fabric, before you use it, you want to give it a wash beforehand. So you treat it like a new pair of dark denim jeans. Now the fabric for this actual cushion cover, I have already pre-washed because it's sort of small strips. So I washed it beforehand. But I'd just be, if you're going to be popping it on a white sofa, I would just sort of be a little bit wary, maybe give it another wash, just to get rid of any residual fabric, any residual dye in there. But it should be absolutely fine. But yeah, you treat it like a new pair of dark denim jeans, and you wouldn't want to wear your best white underwear until you'd given your denim jeans a wash.
Oh no.
I remember going out one night in a new pair of denim jeans, and we went to a club, and you know, we danced, and it all got, you know, a bit hot. And I came home, and I thought I'll go and have a shower, and I took my jeans off, and I was like, oh no, something's gone wrong, or my legs have gone grey or like blue. In my sort of, you know, alcohol-addled brain, I thought there was something really wrong with me, and then I realised, no, it's not. It's just where the dyes come off on my jeans.
Yeah. Oh, bless you.
So I think that's something that, you know, potentially happens to a few people when they have a big night out.
Do you remember back in the day when people used to get in the bath with their new Levi's on?
Yes. And I remember my brother doing that and falling asleep, and then waking up, and they had to be cut out. I had to call my mum. So this was back in the 80s. He'd fallen asleep. Had to call my mum, and my mum had to sort of prise him out of his brand new jeans that he'd shrunk in the bath.
That's hilarious. I love that. That's brilliant.
It was a real thing. You sort of lay in the bath until they sort of got to the skinny tight stage that you wanted.
Yeah, they kind of melded to your body basically, didn't they?
But how did you take them off? You know, after you'd done that would be the difficult thing. Yeah, I think, you know, it's I'm glad they don't do that anymore.
No.
That was I do, yeah, with the advent of Lycra, you know, we can get sort of skinny jeans, but we can still manage to take them off.
Yes. Always very handy.
But you can't possibly remember the time when you used to wear used to like go in the bath and...
I myself didn't do it, but I knew of people
Yeah.
who did, if that made sense. It's kind of like, I know it was kind of in the 80s,
Yeah.
but it was something that older people in my family were doing,
Yeah.
if that made sense. Or did.
Because my brother was sort of 16 years older than me, and I remember him doing it. And as we were discussing earlier, you're much younger than I am.
You know how we've also talked numerous times about how weird we both have different things in common?
Yeah.
We've got loads of things in common, basically, including weird stuff. Like, we're both called Becky. Our maiden names are both RR. We're, alliteration in our first and last name. Also, we're the same zodiac, sort of year of the rabbit. But yes, my sibling is also 16 years older than me.
That's so weird.
Weird, right?
What's he called?
It's a girl, Rachel.
Okay, that's really odd.
Weird though, that isn't it?
Really odd. So biblical names, Rachel and Rebecca.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very strange.
Yeah, a bit different, right?
Yeah. Middle name. What's your middle name?
Do you know what? I don't actually have one.
Oh,
No.
because it's National Middle Name Day.
I don't know that because I don't have a middle name, so I don't get the memos. What's yours?
Kathleen.
Oh, what a gorgeous middle name.
So that, because I think we were talking earlier on today about middle names, and we're saying that often, you're named after somebody in your family.
Yes.
The middle names tend to be the kind of important ones. Now, when my son was born, and my husband tells a different story to this, but when he was born, we called him Luca, and we gave him the middle name of Barry because Barry is the name of my dad and also of my husband's dad. And so we were like, okay, Barry. And I thought, I can't have him as his middle name just being Barry. And so we discussed this, and we gave him the middle names. Well, I went and gave him the middle names of Jacob Barry. Now, my husband tells a different story, and his story is Becky had a baby, went a bit mad and just added a middle name when she registered the birth, which wasn't strictly true. But, often you sort of choose names of people, family members that have passed away or, grandparents, that kind of thing, which I think is a really nice idea, isn't it?
An important kind
Yeah,
of figure.
exactly.
Yeah. Do message us in because today it is National Middle Name Appreciation Day. Apparently, we've just found out. Well, I have because again, no middle name. Apparently, George, our wonderful producer, has a Chinese middle name. Tell me, please, George. Q. K-O-O.
Oh, that was the name of a club in Ibiza in the 90s.
Was it?
It was, yeah. Was that... Oh, Q Stark.
Apparently George's saying it was named after Coup Start, but I like the idea of it being a nightclub. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, my middle name's Space. Middle name Amnesia. I love that. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think actually
Cool name.
it's opposite where Amnesia is.
Is it?
It's called Privilege now, but it used to be called
Oh,
Coup.
I've been to Privilege.
Used to be called Coup.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, we learned so much on this show.
I'm full of really useless information.
Yeah. Another thing we have in common. George, director, what's your middle name?
Oh,
Elliot, I love that name. Named after anyone in particular?
so you're George Eliot?
George Eliot.
That's brilliant.
That is brilliant. I think that's great, George Eliot. Wow, well, I loved that. That's brilliant.
When my niece was about to be born, their surname is Coates, and they were going to call her Over, which I thought was quite funny. They didn't go for it, but they were like, oh, maybe we could call her Over, and I thought that was really funny. At the time, I was only about 8, so it was hilarious.
Oh, that's so cute. I like that. That's adorable. Yeah, do let us know your middle name if there's an interesting story to it. I did actually used to pretend I had a middle name.
Oh, that's so... Why did you not have a middle name?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Has your sister got a middle name?
Yeah, she has.
Oh.
Yeah, she has. I'm bothered with me. You know what I mean? Oh, 16 years later. Ooh.
Mm.
Well, maybe it was out of fashion at that point when you were, when you were born.
Maybe.
And, came back in fashion afterwards.
Possibly. But yeah, no, I used to pretend when I was at primary school that, when I was at primary school, I pretended that my middle name was Elizabeth because we were doing about the Tudors and I really liked the sound of Elizabeth I. But then I got a bit older and a bit cooler, so then I decided to change my fake middle name to Jet off of the Gladiators.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I quite like that idea. Being able to...
Just make up your own. Oh, yeah. Rebecca Jet Redican. Yeah. No, of course, rolls off the tongue. You have another middle name to you, George. Go on, what's your other one? Kimberly. That's nice.
Isn't that a name of a biscuit in Australia? Aren't they called chocolate Kimberleys? In Australia or New Zealand? Yeah.
Anyone from Australia, New Zealand, or just no? Kimberly's, is it a biscuit?
I'm back on food again.
Yeah.
Didn't take long, did it?
Procedure. Mary Pat says, I don't have a middle name either.
Oh.
They need a national no middle name day. Yes, they do. Mary Pat, set up a petition and I'll sign it. Colleen is saying mine is, oh no, sorry, not Colleen, it's easy, is it? Yeah, Colleen is saying mine is Marie and I never liked it. Oh, I like that as a middle name.
Do you know, I think it's like your hair. You never like your own hair.
True.
And you never like your own name, do you? You choose something different.
I love
so
that.
So here's the top of my cushion cover. So you can see how that's come together. And it's come together quite quickly. So the next stage would be to put the bean paste pieces along either side of here. Now, I haven't bought any wadding that I'd put, or batting that I'd put on here, but normally I would cut a piece of batting to cover this, and then I would do some quilting on here. So you could do all sorts of different quilting. You could do some stitch in the ditch, which is when you stitch along the line that's already been stitched, or you could use one of the quilting templates. You could do some really fantastic kind of stuff on here, or some free motion machine embroidery over the top of there, just to sort of finish it off. So that is the front part of the cushion cover, and then we'll carry on with the rest of that in just a moment.
I love that just based on the pattern, that you've created looks so different to this.
Yeah.
I really love that. It's fun, that, isn't it? So let us remind you of the kits that we have got, shall we? First off, we've got the Audrey bag here for you. This, if you would like to learn how to create it, we actually made it essentially start to finish in our previous show, so do watch back on that. You get lots of adornments here, including this hand-carved button, and it creates this lovely bag, which is great to hold a tablet in, or we were saying you could put like crochet hooks in here, things like that. Maybe if you're going on your holidays, you don't want your jewellery to get all tangled up with the rest of your clothes, you could pop it in there as well. You get everything you need. I'm talking instructions, I'm talking kind of the main fabrics, if you will, and of course the adornments themselves. Today, just $28.50 for you. So that's an option. If you do want the cushion, which is what the lovely Becky is making at this moment in time, your information is coming up. You get with this your lovely yellows, you get 2 types of shibori, and you also get the bean paste designs, which are around the outside in here too. Again, you don't get the cushion inside, but you do get plenty to make even the envelope back. And I will just say to you that the envelope back is actually really good, especially if you are new, because can be tricky to get your head around doing stuff like zips when you're just starting out. So that's a lovely, really, another really nice feature. Again, if you are new and you just think, right, well, all I can basically do is sew in a straight line, this be your project. So you can get that again with all those instructions. And don't forget that once you've used the instructions, switch the fabrics and create cushions for everyone. Next up for you, I have the wall hanging. Now this is with the fabulous elephants and with the fabulous elephants and with the tiger design as well. You get lovely large pieces of your fabric here. Again, just to give you an idea of the types of elements you can be getting within this. You're getting quite bold pieces as such, ones like this too. These are all individual They are not mass produced. They are all hand created. They are really just individual and unique, because let's be totally honest, you are individual and unique, and your pieces of artwork or craft with this will also be individual and unique. So you're getting all of those treats, which in the end you can make this with, which is just lovely. Great as a wall hanging. Lovely as like a throw on the back of the top of a chair, maybe, is just something that you can kind of, you know, pop over your legs when they get a bit cold. It's a lovely one that you could do with like a baby blanket, maybe. That would be a really cute size. And again, you know, work on the configuration of this. Take all of this panel and attach it to the end for a really glamorous sort of, you know, table runner, for example. Absolutely lots and lots and lots you could do with them.
You know, you get those sort of long draft excluders
Great
with
idea.
the different sort of animals on there. That could work really well, because you'll get, obviously you need to add some backing fabric to that, but you would be adding backing fabric to that anyway, but you could use them in a long line rather than having them, you know, two and two.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I love that. And a bit sort of, dare I say it, a little bit more elegant maybe than the ones you see that are like snakes or dogs. Do you know what I mean? That you see in the shops. Not that there's out wrong with them, but it's just a bit of a twist. And then the lap quilt, which has got everybody talking. When I've been picking this one up, people have been messaging. I will read some of them out. Half of the stock gone on this. I want to show you, each piece that you're going to get is this size. Do not forget, you will get pieces left over. But I want to show you, just to give you an idea of the fabulous diversity of this pack. Now, I can't guarantee that you are going to get these exact different patterns, and that's the wonderful thing about this. You could buy 2 of this kit and you would not be able to recreate an exact replica of the lap that we're going to show you. It would be truly, truly impossible. I mean, look at that. It's stunning, isn't it? So if you do want to seize the moment on making something that is unique, almost like making like twin cushions, you know, so like maybe it could be, say you've got 2 kids and you wanted to make them one at each of these. They're not exactly the same, but they have got that connection to them, created by you in the same design. So it's all of those. I know it takes me a while to go through them, but there's such a massive bit. And you also get the fabric in here, that white fabric, which will help you create, wait for it, because it's stunning. Look at that. You can see why it's been popular, can't you? It is absolutely divine, completely unique. Every single square tells a story, and I do think it could be lovely for like story time, you know, ask people what they're seeing in each square and almost build up a story. You know, it could be kind of you know, maybe someone sees a dragon in this, and then, you know, the dragon looks up at some fireworks as they're walking through. You could really do like a story with it, couldn't you? Which could be really nice for young people to get into, because actually that could be really cute, you know, like going over to grandma's, we're getting out the story blanket, and different stories can be created each time.
That you'd have, you know, different pattern fabrics that you could make an idea, you know, make a story from. I think that's a really good idea.
Completely, because don't forget, you know, young people's imaginations can actually be even wider than our own when we're older. But I think that's a really nice idea, and it's the perfect fabric for it, because it's not too obvious what they are, but you can definitely see things in them. And I will just remind you that in the USA, it's Sunday, anyway, daylight savings hour. So what that means, of course, is you are going to be springing forward in your time. So the times are going to be changing. If you do want to take a little picture of this, I'll give you a moment. Grab your phone out. Oh, should I look good in it? There you go. So these are the times where, I don't think I looked really good then, but it's that pose. But these are your times for Saturdays and Sundays. So these are the shows that we are going to be looking at. So Eastern time, for example, you've got an 8 a.m. show, an 11 a.m. show, and a 3 p.m. show. We've also got a different timing, of course, from Monday to Friday because of our varying shows. So in this one, for Eastern time, for example, the first show is at 6 a.m, then you've got 10 a.m, and then you have 2 p.m. So take a little snapshot of those, remembering that we're springing forward on Sunday. So worth bearing that in mind. Now, if you are new with us, welcome. How are you doing? Do you like saving money? Good, because I've got the perfect way for you to do it. We have a fabulous club here called Club Inspire. Now, I know what you're thinking, Bex, how much are you going to take out of my account each week to be part of this? Absolutely nothing, because our wonderful club, it is all to do with the more you spend, the more you save. Here's a little bit more about it.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Take all the hard work out of patchwork with the Gemini Build-A-Block patchwork system. This innovative collection of multimedia dies allows you to create patchwork blocks with ease and total accuracy. This set includes 18 dies to cut a range of shapes and sizes for patchwork or quilting projects. They can cut multiple layers of fabric at once. They include an accurate 1/4-inch seam allowance, plus all of your pieces are cut exactly the same size every time. Follow your own creative inspiration or look through the 20 patterns laid out in the guide. Not enough? There's an additional 60 patterns online. And right now, we have amazing offers on the Gemini Build-A-Block patchwork system. Quick Buy, get yours now. Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash. Put away your tape measure and fabric scissors. The Threader's fabric cutter offers accuracy and precision with every cut. This handy tool slices through fabric in a guillotine style. Its ergonomic design features a comfortable and protective handle, so it's safe and easy to use whether you're right or left-handed. Its 45mm rotary blade will cut up to 6 layers of fabric at a time, so your sewing, quilting, and upholstery project times are cut down to size. It's equipped with a measuring guide in metric and imperial for a perfectly accurate cut every time. The built-in grid ruler has 30-degree, 45-degree, and 60-degree angle lines, so you can cut fabric on any angle, including the bias. Quick Buy, all your crafty must-haves in a flash.
Hiya, welcome. Oh, that was very informal. Hiya. I nearly went with an A up, but I thought, no, keep it profesh. It's lovely to be with you. How are you doing? Now, I have got time now to do demo of the day, because the wonderful Becky has very generously said that because she hasn't got a cushion quite done yet, more than happy to put through Debbie's craft along in this. So let me show you the 3 makes that we have had to vote for today. This here is number 1. This was in from our Craft Factor Lady Leanne. So this is Craft Factor, that is number 1. So vote for that one if you wish. Becky's created and crafted bag. This is the Audrey bag. Individual hand-carved elements and the shibori fabric is 2. And then we've got Debbie Fisher's craft along, which is the camper van with the box in it. So get voting on your favourite 1, 2 or 3. And whilst you're doing that, we are going to go back to Becky. I'm with you, Becky.
Excellent. So I'm going to
going to carry on stitching around the outside. So this is the cushion front, and then this is the beam paste, which is just going around the outside. So I've done the top and the bottom pieces first of all, and then I'm just doing the other left and right side. And then I'm going to be using the other blue piece of fabric, and I'm going to be using that to make the envelope cushion back to it. So I'll just carry on stitching.
We've had some lovely messages in. Hiya Sharon, who says beautiful fabric. Barbara's in as well, saying I love the quilt. Quite a few people agreeing with you on that, lovely Barbara. For Holidays is saying, I do sew, I do a bit of sewing, but I don't quilt. These are neat though. Do you have to be a quilter to be able to do these?
Not at all. And the thing is, I mean, when you look at when you think about quilting, this is sort of patchwork, I suppose, but the bag isn't at all. Quilting is something you can do as little or as much quilting as you want on a piece of fabric that you're sewing together. So you know, you look at some quilts and they are immense in the work and in the stitching that's gone into them, into the quilting that's been done. But quite often with the quilting that I do, so say for example this one here, when I put it together, in fact in the sample we've got here, all I did quilting wise was I just sort of I would have just stitched down here and then across here just to secure this part to the back of the fabric, to the wadding. You could do all sorts of different quilting, and actually, you know, when you first start quilting, it's just a question of adding, you know, putting fabric into layers and then sewing them together and putting them together so they become quite puffy. That's effectively what you're doing. So you could do all sorts of different kinds of quilting on here, or none at all. You know, as I say, this kind of stitching where you're just stitching along sort of the vertical and the horizontal line in like quarters here is what they call stitch in a ditch, where you're effectively stitching along the sort of stitch line here. So it's not noticeable that you've quilted anything, you're just sewing the layers of fabric together. So no, absolutely, if you've never quilted before, you can still, you know, do these things, and it wouldn't be unusual for you to not want to do a lot of quilting. Now on the elephants and tigers quilts that we've got, I've hardly done any quilting at all on it. I've left it quite open for people, and I quite like the fact that sometimes people will just do the tiniest bit of quilting on there or none at all, and some people just go completely bonkers and create something, you know, incredible with the quilting that you do. So you can definitely sort of give it a whirl and not have to think, maybe I'm not doing this quite right. I don't think there's any right or wrong. It's a little bit like cooking. That, you know, baking is different. You've got to be quite careful with baking because you've got to come up with effectively a chemical formula, haven't you? But when you're actually cooking, so much of it is just sort of seeing what you like and how it works for you. As you can see, you know, I've not been super precious about making sure that everything is exactly lined up. You know, you can see here, I've not got that absolutely together on that line, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because especially when you have a cushion cover in there, no one's going to see that those aren't exactly parallel. So it's just about having a bit of a play, I think.
And to be honest, that tiny step in, you've got exactly the same on the opposite side of it. So it still looks like it works. Which is great.
And I think, you know, that's we've got to have fun making things. You know, a paper craft's the same, isn't it? You know, if we were all sort of hung up about how, you know, making sure everything was perfect, no one would ever give it a try. And it's funny because, you know, obviously here, Crafters TV, everybody makes something, don't they? You know, there's all sorts of, you do, you sew, you do shoes, everybody does bits and pieces, and every single person here would have made something, and it's not quite exactly how they saw it in their mind or exactly how they wanted it to be. But as long as you've enjoyed making it, then that is the key thing.
Completely.
Unless, of course, it's a card that you're building and it hasn't worked quite right. Then that's quite important. True. Don't build a car willy-nilly. Concentrate on that, is what I would say.
Oh my goodness, we have been asking people for top tips today, and I think you've blown all of the others out the water. Oh, funny.
Actually, I've always thought it'd be quite interesting to build a car.
Have you?
Yeah, I was quite.
Do you
like
know
the-
quite a bit about cars?
No.
Right. What's the most car-based thing you've done?
I've replaced the engine in my old car. That was quite car-based.
Okay, what are you talking about? Do you know when someone says, oh, do you know anything about cars? And people are like, no. I'm expecting when I ask that, like, oh, I just about know how to change the water in, my windscreen wipers.
This was
Taking an engine out?
Yeah, I replaced the engine in. I had an old car when I was sort of 17. It needed a new engine, and back then, it's a little bit different now with cars. They're all so computerised. You can't sort of get into the sort of mechanics of it. I did it with my dad, and we sort of took the engine out and replaced it with a new engine. And it wasn't.
Cool.
I mean, you got those books, what they called Hayes Manual, and it told you step by step how to do absolutely everything.
Wow.
And I don't think you quite get the same kind of thing now. But I wouldn't have a clue what to do with my car now.
No.
Even, it's even a situation now with my car. I can't even tell if the oil needs changing because it's all computerised.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You can't sort of identify those sorts of things. But I always like the idea of having one of those kit cars. You remember seeing those kit cars that were...
You build them from scratch sort of thing.
Yeah, I quite like that idea. But I don't have time to, to do the ironing, so I certainly have not got enough time to make myself a car.
I would love that though if you were like, if your partner was like, oh, ironing's building up. Yeah, I know, but I am building a car.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
priorities.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to trim these little sections off, and I'm just doing it really quickly and quite roughly because I can trim everything else off afterwards. So that's effectively the top. Now I'm going to be using the piece of fabric at the blue fabric, which is going to be the back of the cushion cover. So this is too big, and that doesn't matter because I've just cut it out. Because when you're stitching it together, you may find that it's not quite exactly the dimensions that you want it to be. So I cut this a little bit bigger, so I've got plenty of space here, so I can just sort of fold it all over. And I'm going to place it so right sides together, and then so you've got that piece there. And then this one, again, right sides together, lined up against here. And then we're going to pin it, and we're going to stitch all the way around here, and then we'll turn it round the right way, and it will be finished.
Oh, isn't that fabulous? Don't forget, we did have a softer side show earlier on where we actually had loads of different styles of fabric. So if you are loving this and you think, I want to make it, but I know I'm going to want to make it in different colours and really play with it, maybe do some for the living room, some for your neighbours, some for your daughter's room, whatever it might be, we have got loads of different fabrics on, including plain fabrics, which are actually quite good to start off with, aren't they?
Yeah.
You don't have to line anything up.
No, but actually the So Boho fabrics that we had on softer side,
great point.
they're really busy, and therefore they're quite forgiving with the patterns.
Yeah.
And all of those patterns would work really well together. So you could do something similar to this.
Great.
For using those fabrics as well.
I will just, whilst you're pinning, let you know we have had a winner through for Demo of the Day. And the winner of Demo of the Day is numero dos.
No, not really. That's my first demo of the day. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Congratulations. And I have to say, very well deserved, because it's absolutely beautiful. So that is going in for Demo of the Week. Huge congratulations, and thank you to everyone who voted, of course. Well done, Becky. That's well
I'm
good.
very excited about that. That's brilliant news. I'm just going to quickly cut around the outside here. So you can see that this is the fabric. No, I said that this is too big. So I'm doing it a little bit messily, but it doesn't matter because I can trim everything else off after it. So I'm going to sew around the outside now with just my 1/4 inch sewing machine. So I'm going to go round all the way around the edge, and I would just trim all this off and neaten off the edges. You can probably see I've got loads of loose threads here. So obviously when you're doing it at home, you'd be making sure that all those loose threads aren't loose. But obviously for speed, we're just going to quickly run this through. Start down this side. Oh, I'm so excited about that. That's brilliant.
It is really, really a big well done. I know you
I'm whooping myself.
I know. No, very, very well done. And I think that was a really, if you haven't, by the way, seen how to make that, it is, again, one of the easier one of your kits, isn't it? So again, for new people, this could be a good first project, couldn't it, the Audrey bag?
It would be, and it's something you can use.
Totally.
You know, it's quite nice to have, you know, we were saying you can fit in a tablet into there, or you can use it, you know, as a little sort of toiletry bag. But yeah, it's quite nice to have something that you can use.
Keep a kid busy in the car pack.
Yeah.
So you put in it a notebook, you put in it some colouring crayons, and you put it in, you know, the little pocket behind your seat.
That's
Do you know
a
what I mean?
really
So if
good
you're
idea,
stuck
yeah.
in traffic or whatever, it's, oh, get that out. And so, you know, you've got everything in there to keep them sort of busy for half an hour or two.
Or your little snack bag.
Oh, yeah.
With
Stop
you know,
talking about snacks.
well, everyone else had dinner earlier on. I just had a packet of crisps.
Yeah, you did. What flavour were they? They look dead odd.
They were Thai chicken, I think.
Oh, okay.
They were quite strange. I quite like them though, you know. But I'll have my dinner when I get home later tonight.
Got anything nice in?
Pardon?
Got anything nice in?
I've got chicken katsu curry.
Ooh. I love a katsu curry. You make really good homemade katsu curry, George. Do you?
Did you not bring it in next time? Oh, I love chicken katsu.
I've never tried to make it myself.
I do love I love sort of kind of Thai, Chinese kind of food. Obviously, you know.
Yeah. Apparently she makes great pan curry as well. Oh, these are sounding great. Yeah, we'll sit down and eat together.
That sounds like a great idea.
Sounds great. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, it's one of my favourite things about kind of that sort of food. Sitting down and eating all as a whole and having a good old natter. Oh, just love it.
We don't do it enough. We don't have the opportunity really, do we, here?
No.
Because if one person is on the show, somebody else is having a break.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Oh, the wonderful Becky is just going to unfurl this for us. Whilst she is, let me just remind you, we are going to be back with you tomorrow and to remind you about those daylight savings changes. I want to remind you to check out your baskets whilst you have the chance, with the chance of that £20 or $30, you're getting that free gift as well today. So seize the moment on that. Becky, whilst you're turning this back the right way round, when are you next in with us?
I'm actually got a week off.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not back until, no, for 2 weeks'
2
time.
weeks.
So yeah, I'll be back for Softer Side on Friday the
2 weeks from
20th,
now.
something
Great.
like that. Yep.
And look at that gorgeous cushion cover, all made in that time. Becky, thank you so much. We will see you on the 25th. Congratulations again on your win. Thank you. You have been fabulous. Have the most wonderful weekend because you deserve it. I'll see you tomorrow.